much to aggravate him. But yeah, we already know this will be one of those feisty games.
Yeah, high stakes towards the top end of the table. If Chelsea are to win this evening, they will move within 3 points of Arsenal at the top of the table. As that's going to
มาครับเพื่อนๆสวัสดีนะครับสวัสดีหายไปตั้งเกือบ2 อาทิตย์กลับมาแล้วผมกลับมาแล้ว
Get away with this without a yellow card, but he isn't. The yellow card is out of the pocket for Anthony Taylor, and I don't think anybody in a red shirt can have too many complaints given the counter-attack that was building there for Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly that, as Reece James was clapped down in the middle of the park. Already a yellow card for Zubimendi. It didn't take long.
No, certainly didn't. Reminder as well, if Arsenal are to win this game this afternoon, they will extend their gap at the top of the table. With Manchester City winning yesterday, it is important for the Gunners to maintain pace. They started the day on 29 points. They will move up to 32 of course with a victory. Good 7 points clear of the citizens in second. But as things stand, 5.5 minutes gone. It is at Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0 at Stamford Bridge. Independent of studio-based commentary. Robert Sanchez with a long kick forward. Down the far side, looking towards Esteval. He's challenged well by the returning Ricardo Calafiori. And ball put out of play on the far side for a Chelsea throw-in. Looks as though at the minute, Malo Gusto's the one who is setting up more as the typical right-back for Chelsea. Our break-offs, that's a lovely flick on there from Joao Pedro to set Esteval away, but superb defending from Ricardo Calafiori to win the ball back. He's got a big task this evening, has the Italian, hasn't he? Obviously rested midweek against Bayern Munich. Miles Lewis-Skelly, the man who started at full-back for Arsenal, but Calafiori up against Esteval, I think is going to be a real battle.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's going to be a good battle as well. I covered the Chelsea-Barcelona game, and Esteval scored an absolute beauty in that one, and he was outstanding on the right-hand side. He's going to look to repay the faith from Maresca for this one as well, and then Eze is coming off the back of a brilliant hat-trick against Spurs. It could have been 4 as well. He almost got a 4th goal. Chalobah goes to the right, poor ball from him, but yeah, basically we've hit
มาเพื่อนสวัสดีนะครับสวัสดี
going into this December
มาเพื่อนสวัสดีเชลซีนะครับเจอกับอาร์เซนอลนะเพื่อน
on the far side by Calafiori. Just going to go back to Piero Hincapié. Interestingly enough, it is the 23-year-old that's starting on the left-hand side of that centre-back partnership. Mosquera on the right, which makes sense given Hincapié's role at Bayer Leverkusen, playing on the left of the back 3. Tonight he's playing in a back 4, and he's one of the 2 centre halves as Caicedo. Brilliant challenge to take the ball away from Yuri and Timber. He's absolutely furious. He's not won a free kick there, Timber, and so is Mikel Arteta. I get the feeling we're going to get an awful lot of this. I don't know if he's got a case on him, because initially I thought it was shoulder to shoulder, but that view there from that transfer from Caicedo maybe makes it look a little bit less.
Yeah, it's going to be quite stop-start this game. Fingers crossed it can flow a little bit, but it'll certainly add to the tempo. Both fan bases will be louder and loving it. It'll rile them up every time they win a free kick, put in a good chance. That's what this fixture needs as well, as you see Arsenal playing out from the back.
Yeah, Hincapié did well to take the ball away from Enzo Fernandez on the near side, and the Gunners will just restart inside their own 6-yard box with David Raya. Forward now to Mosquera, who's now, just as I say, Hincapié was playing on the left-hand side of the back 2. They've now swapped around, and Mosquera taking up the further left position. Eventually David Raya forced to go long, looking towards Martinelli. Header won by Fofana, but picked up in midfield well by Mikel Merino. He's looking for options around, and we'll move it square to former Chelsea Academy player Declan Rice, who said after the game midweek, after the victory against Bayern Munich, he feels he's playing his best football of his career. I don't think there can be too many arguments with that. I thought, yes, the price tag was big, but when he signed from West Ham, I thought he was one of the turning point signings for Arsenal in the midfield, and he's really proven that to be the case. Fantastic midfielder, playing obviously up against Moises Caicedo, another player who's arguably playing the best football of his career at the moment. As Calafiori now picks up the ball for Arsenal over on the far side. Let's move it into Declan Rice, deep inside Arsenal territory. It's Reece James the furthest forward, putting a little bit of a squeeze on his fellow England teammate. As Rice now all the way back towards the penalty area is very much being pressed by Reece James. It almost feels like there's a man marking job going on there, as that's a really poor ball forward from Merino. Interception made by Malo Gusto. And now Reece James will gather in midfield, back to Enzo Fernandez, further into the centre circle for Caicedo, and now back with Fofana once more. He'll just keep things ticking, moving square to Chalobah. Over onto the far side for Fofana again. Down the line for for Esteval, I should say, sorry, dropped deep to pick the ball up. Squared up well by Calafiori. So just be patient and keep hold of it. This is decent play this from Chelsea, forcing Arsenal to do the work. And just as I say that, Chalobah launches the ball into midfield, looking towards Gusto, nowhere near the Frenchman, and Arsenal can come forward on an attack.
มาเพื่อนคอมแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะครับ
He's held up well
เดี๋ยว
though.
ผม
We'll
ขออนุญาต
just
แป๊
go
บหนึ่ง
back to Yuri and Timber, and Arsenal will restart along the back four. Ball played into Declan Rice. Loose touch allows the pressure to come in from James, but he does Rice to feed it over onto the far side for Riccardo Calafiori. And Capier now just stepping forward towards the centre circle before moving it square to Christian Mosquera. Ball now played onto the halfway line for Bukayo Saka. He's then fouled from behind by Cucurella. He'll point to the ball and question Anthony Taylor, and he's going to get himself a yellow card. I don't think that's necessarily because of that that foul just then is an isolated moment. I think he picks up the yellow card for the couple that he's already given away, and I think Anthony Taylor's warned him, and actually it's a bit of a worse tackle on replay than it looked initially.
It is. I don't think that's a yellow card. I mean, Anthony Taylor's done this quite a few times. He's had games where he brandishes a couple early on, and then he just keeps doing it for every single thing, and he loses the grip of it. I can already tell this is going to be one of those games from the referee. That's not a yellow card. He's fouled him with Bukayo Saka running back into his own half. Yeah, he slid through the side, but it's not that reckless. And I mean, the fact that that's a yellow card, it worries me for how stop-start this game could be.
เหมือนเดิมอย่างเพื่อนเดี๋ยวค่อยตั้งใหม่
Because it's now the third one he's given away inside the opening 11 minutes. But either way, it is now a yellow card apiece.
มึงโดนเหลืองมั่งคูคูเรย่า
And one for Mark Cucurella as well. While Bukayo Saka, I should say, sorry, I'll break off because that's a great ball through looking for Martinelli. Well across there was Trevor Chalobah to put the ball out of play while Bukayo Saka was getting back to his feet after that challenge from Mark Cucurella. The camera just panned to Mikel Arteta, who really did not seem happy with the tackle put in by Mark Cucurella. But play will continue with the Spaniard on a yellow card. As after that, Trevor Chalobah challenge. The ball has been put out of play on the far side for an Arsenal throw-in. It'll be Declan Rice to hurl this one in. Camera lingering on Piero Hincapié. He's up there with Mikel Merino and Christian Mosquera. Long throw comes in from Declan Rice. Mosquera's battling for it. Header away from Chalobah. Will be brought down the edge of the box though by Eze. Finds his way to Saka with a load of space. This side straight towards goal. Save made by Robert Sanchez, and Chelsea will just about be able to get it clear.
วันนี้กาเบรียลเจซุสมาติโนดิกาดโยเคเลสกลับมาหมดแล้วเพื่อน
Joao Pedro, and that's going to be the third yellow card of the afternoon, and I think that one is probably barring Zubamendi's, which was a blatant yellow card. That one's up there as well because he's got no attempt to play the ball there as Joao Pedro's coming forward, just brings him down from behind. Third yellow of the game, but that would worry me if I was Enzo Maresca, how easy that was for Bukayo Saka to create that chance. Just see on the near side, a player of his quality, yes, I think he's offside, but a player of his quality cannot be allowed all that space and time.
Yeah, they all just start ball watching the Chelsea defenders. Eze picks it up on the edge, and they almost just are worried about what he could potentially do. João Pedro switches off at the back post. It's not a great finish from Saka. Good pressing though from Rice. Clearance from Rob Sanchez. Poor one.
Yeah, it is. Poor from Robert Sanchez. Rice, I'm pretty sure, was offside. Play will continue. Eventually, the flag does indeed go up. As poor clearance from Robert Sanchez allows Arsenal to get the ball back in a dangerous area. But because I think Arsenal weren't expecting the poor clearance from the former Brighton goalkeeper, they're all caught offside, trying to press the Spaniard, and ultimately the flag does go up. Of course, in case you missed it earlier on, Robert Sanchez's former side Brighton ended up winning by 2-0 away from home at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest. There was also a 2-0 win for Liverpool away at West Ham, and Aston Villa beat struggling Wolves by 1-0 at Villa Park. And then, of course, in the early kick-off, Manchester United came from behind to beat Crystal Palace by 2-1. It's been a full day of football this Sunday, as it was yesterday as well, with the Premier League 3 o'clock. So there'll be a full midweek with a full round of Premier League fixtures being played to try and slow things down a little bit. But At the minute, it's like Chelsea are quite happy for Arsenal to have a lot of the ball, and they're going to look to try and come forward on the counter-attack when the space opens. I'd be a little bit worried though if I was Enzo Maresca, the amount of mistakes that have been made. Another poor pass out, this time from Chalobah, and Caicedo's there to head the cross in from Bukayo Saka away. It's every time now Chelsea getting the ball on the back four.
Yeah, exactly. And Arsenal, we know what they're going to do. They're going to press with that front three and the in midfield, just causing the problems as we see. Marino now gives it away. Both sides are making mistakes. There's not a lot of quality in the final third yet.
No, certainly not. Here is Esteval, edge of the penalty area. Ball in, finds Neto. What a good touch that was. And what a superb tackle from Declan Rice to take the ball away from the former Wolverhampton Wanderers man. Arsenal live to fight another day. Brilliant from Esteval down the far side. Excellent from Pedro Neto as well, but even better from Declan Rice.
Yeah, really good work. What a touch that was from Pedro Neto to get away from his man initially. He's just completely giving up playing, thinking he should get the free kick that he doesn't get. I'm a massive fan of Pedro Neto. I think he's hugely underrated within this league, and yeah, he almost just fell for him onto his weaker right foot. But Esteval and Neto on either wings, they're going to cause problems.
ได้แค่ไลท์แน่นอนเว้ย
Challenge on the near side there from Yuri and Timber to take the ball away from Pedro Neto. I thought that was certain to be a Chelsea throw-in, but it was given away of Arsenal. Yuri and Timber now with the ball in hand is asking for somebody to show for him. He's getting some orders from Mikel Arteta. This throw-in is now taking 15 seconds to be thrown in. Eventually it is thrown in by Yuri and Timber. Finds Bukayo Saka in the middle of the park, over onto the far side for Calafiori, just inside Chelsea territory. Falls backwards though by Malo Gusto to Piero Hincapié. Declan Rice now dropped in between the two centre-halves. He's almost making a back three in possession. Now, I understand that what Arsenal are doing is they're trying to draw Chelsea onto them, but don't use Declan Rice in that position. You want him further up the field. He is so deep at the minute, and I think that's why Arsenal are struggling to get the ball to stick in the final third. Yes, there is a lack of a number 9. Obviously, Victor Gyökeres is back on the bench this evening, but they've also got nobody in midfield trying to move the ball forward.
Yeah, I think it's working in a sense of Chelsea are buying into it because Declan Rice is that important. Chelsea are actually sticking to him, which is leaving the space, but the execution of the other players around Declan Rice has been poor. It worked in a sense that Zubimendi just got into a good position. They got acres of space in the midfield into the final third, and they would have been through, but Zubimendi's forward ball was terrible. Chelsea.
Yeah, lovely flick on from João Pedro, finds Esteval, back to João Pedro, far side ball in, not properly dealt with. Esteval should have scored. Really big opportunity. It's really poor defending inside the penalty area from Christian Mosquera. Esteval latches onto the poor clearance, scuffs his strike though into the ground, up over the crossbar. Really good forward-thinking play from Chelsea, but the final finish wasn't there.
Felt like a raw forward, didn't he, running onto that one? What an opportunity that is, getting over the ball. He's just got to drill it hard and low, but it's an awful attempt, and I mean, he's got an absolute beauty midweek.
สวัสดีนะครับเพื่อนๆพี่ๆนะครับเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามด้วยนะครับก็ช่องไลฟ์สปอร์ตยินดีต้อนรับพี่ๆเพื่อนๆทุกคนนะครับเพื่อนๆก็
Esteval scored twice on international duty with Brazil. And as you mentioned, Kieran got that goal as well for Chelsea against Barcelona. Also against Canada, that disappointing 2-2 draw in the Champions League.
เกือบโดนดิยัดเช่
That volley over the crossbar, half volley I should say really. As Eze's lost the ball again in midfield. Reece James with a good tackle this time. Caicedo trying to get the Blues moving. Will lay it off to Gusto over on the far side. He'll go all the way back to Robert Sanchez to take his time before playing the ball into Caicedo. Square to Reece James. Not a great pass from Caicedo, but James does well and feeds Gusto through midfield. Esteval once more on the far side. Bit of space for him to run into, and he does run into it. Esteval with his left foot. I don't think he's got his shooting boots on, Kieran. That's a really poor effort once again. He's frustrated with himself, the 18-year-old. Another really good opportunity, and you expect better.
He's having a lot of joy though. He's Esteval getting a lot of space. He's got Calafiori every single time. Not many wingers have done this.
พี่สวัสดีครับพี่สมัครชุดเดียวกันกับที่เจอไก่หรือเปล่าไม่ครับพี่เปลี่ยนไป2ตำแหน่งก็คือมอสเกล่ากับมาร์ติเนลลี่ซลิบาวันนี้ไม่ได้ลงครับพี่
Really poor finish from him, but the foundations are there. Chelsea look really dangerous, in my opinion, going into
ก็วันนี้ซาลิบาเจ็บครับเพื่อน
Yeah, midfield wide open. Calafiori bringing it forward, feeds Martinelli over on the far
ๆ
side.
เนี่ยแต่วันนี้กาเบรียลเจซุส
Into Calafiori, Marino
โยเคเลสอย่างเงี้ยโอเดการ์ดมาหมดแล้วเพื่อนใครมีตอนนี้มีเจ็บมีใครฮาวเวิร์ดทอสซากาเบรียลวิลเลียมซาลิบานี่ครับเรากลับมาหลายตัวแล้วเจซุสก็มาแล้วเรากลับมาหลายตัวแล้วเพื่อนๆเนี่ยรอฮาวเวิร์ดทอสซากาเบรียลซาลิบาหูนี่เราจะฟูลทีมจัดเลยอะช่วงปีใหม่แบบโปรแกรมช่วงปีใหม่มันไอ้นี่อยู่แล้ว Boxing Day อ่ะเพื่อนๆโปรแกรมแบบโหดๆอ่ะแต่เราก็ยังดีหน่อยที่ยูฟ่าแชมเปี้ยนลีกเราแบบเอาตัวสำรองลงได้แล้วอย่างกาเบรียลอย่างอะไรเงี้ยได้ลงมา
Arsenal's passing is some of the worst I've seen from Arsenal in years. It's been that bad. Zubimendi.
อย่าลืมนะเพื่อนเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะครับเพื่อน
Already in this one, he's been absolutely woeful as the Spanish midfielder. Saka with an awful ball in the build-up just before that as well. The final execution for the Gunners has been so poor, and Chelsea's hasn't been much better, but it's been more effective.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this game is at the minute the midfield is wide open. There is no control from either side in the middle of the park, and I think it's helping and it's helping the game in its sort of end-to-end nature, shall we say. Not quite as basketball-like as maybe the neutral would hope, but it is certainly not being played at a walking pace, shall we say. As Gusto now has a throw-in on the far side for Chelsea. Ball into the midfield, finds Joao Pedro. That's a lovely ball over the top. Great touch as well from Fernandes. Strike towards goal is blocked well by Yuri and Timber. Arsenal want a free kick. They're not going to get it. Play will continue with Timber on the deck. Nkapie now, left-footed ball down the far side is overhit. Don't really know who was looking towards that. And well, Chelsea have the ball back once more, but a lovely ball from Joao Pedro, who's really linking up the play well at times this evening. Enzo Fernandez with a good run from deep. Lovely first touch. Great defending though from Timber.
Yeah, it was really good defending. He's been outstanding this season, hasn't he? Yuri and Timber, probably the best right back in the league. Unless missing a glaring
ไม่หมูไว้วันนี้เราอาร์เซนอลเราไม่หมูอ่ะดูทรงแล้วจริงๆวันนี้11ตัวจริงของอาร์เซนอลเรานะครับก็ประตูเป็นเดวิดลาย่านะครับผู้เซนเตอร์เป็นมอสเคล่ากับไออีคาปิเย่นะแล้วก็แบ็กซ้ายคาราฟิโอลี่นะครับแบ็กขวาทิมเบอร์กองกลาง2คนมีชูบินบิลลี่กับไลท์ตัวลุกนะครับบูโยซาก้าเอเซ่แล้วก็มาเตเอรี่หน้าเป้าวันนี้ใช้มิเกลโมริโน่ฟอร์นายนะครับส่วนของเชลซีนะครับเพื่อนๆประตูเป็นซันเชสนะคู่เซนเตอร์เป็นชาโลบากับโฟฟาน่าแบ็คขวามาริโอคุสโตแบ็คซ้ายคูเรย่ากองกลางก็ไกเซโดกับลีเจมนะตัวลุกมีเนโตเอนโซเฟรนันเดสแล้วก็เอสเตวาลแล้วก็หน้าเป้าเจ้าเปโดครับพี่แล้วประมาณนี้อย่าลืมนะ UCL ตบเสือ4-1โคตรสะใจเลยจริงพี่ผมตื่นมาแบบสะใจจัดเลย
Far side for Esteval ball in behind looking for Malo Gusto. It's the right idea, but it's an overhit pass from the Brazilian.
Yeah, it is very overhit from Esteval.
วันนั้นผมตื่นมาผมยังสะใจเลย
Chelsea in this game that I don't think it's going to be long till we see them maybe punish Arsenal. Seeing this charge back from Timber, got it spot on, just getting his leg across the Argentine. Did maybe Fernandes catch Timber as well? Seeing it back, he just kicks through him in the end, but that's because he's going for the shot.
Yeah, it is. It's no intention there from Enzo Fernandez. As Arsenal have the ball back.
เดี๋ยววันนั้นเราจะชนะไป 3-1 พี่สมัครไม่ใช่ 4-1 นะพี่วันนั้นเราชนะ 3-1 เราชนะสเปอร์ 4-1 เอสเอวาลจ่ายไม่ดี
with getting the ball off the floor and away from any sort of danger.
That one was Hincapie who played it forward. So Hincapie was right next to Rai, but Rai's pass to Hincapie was terrible right before it. But it was Hincapie who then put the ball into the middle of the park, or he tried to, because he tried a first time clearance because it was such a bad ball from the keeper and it didn't find anyone. The cameras linger on Cole Palmer. This game's the type of game where it could be a perfect introduction to get him back into full fitness, etc. As we see Arsenal coming forward. Good defending though from Cucurella. Cucurella, by the way, is coming off the back of one of the better left-back performances I've seen in a long time. Up against Lamine Yamal, I think he's the best player in the world at the moment, and he made it look easy. Did Cucurella, who's outstanding up against him, and he's form ever since the Euros really. Cucurella has been unbelievable.
Yeah, it really has. 24.5 minutes gone in this one at Stamford Bridge. We've just ticked over the quarter mark in this one. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. I'm going to hand it over to Kieran to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, as we now just see the Arsenal midfielder in possession. Caicedo with another foul, this time on Ché. I bet you won't even get good odds on Caicedo getting booked in this game, honestly.
สูสีว่ะเพื่อนเกมเนี้ยไม่ง่ายว่ะเราอ่ะไม่ง่ายเซนอลเราไม่ง่าย
With a game like this that's hotting up in the way it is, he's definitely going to be getting involved more. As we see, free kick goes the way of Arsenal. 25 minutes on the clock, 0-0 between the two, but Chelsea certainly being the better of the two sides so far. Mosquera dinks it towards the right hand side. Saka as well to win the header. Good covering defending though by Pedro Neto. Forward points Caicedo.
วันนี้เจอเชลซีไม่ใช่งานง่ายแน่นอนดูทรงแล้ว
Getting to know each other pretty well so far in this one. As the free kick this time goes for Chelsea. Well, Anthony Taylor's been quite busy so far.
Yeah, he certainly has. I think he was probably expecting to be as well with this game. There's so much at stake, you know, coming up to the halfway point of the season. Chelsea are adamant that they're not in a title race. Well, I would argue a victory today against a team they've not beaten in the last 8 meetings.
แมนยูก็ชนะวันนี้ ซิตี้ก็ชนะลิเวอร์พูลก็ชนะกันหมดเลยไม่รู้ว่าเซนอลเราจะชนะหรือเปล่านะเพื่อนคู่ที่เตะมานะนิวคาสเซิลชนะเอเวอร์ตัน 4-1 สเปอร์แพ้ฟูลแลม 2-1 ครับแมนยูชนะที่นัมเบอร์เลส 2-1 แอสตันวิลล่าชนะบุ๊ก 1-0 ไบรตันนะครับชนะนอตติงแฮมฟอเรสต์ 2-0 ลิเวอร์พูลชนะเวสต์แฮม 2-0 แล้วก็เหลือคู่เรานะครับเพื่อน
Unfortunately, this is going the way I said. As soon as he gave that yellow card for Cucurella, that every foul in the final third is going to be a yellow card now because he set the standard. And yes, I know it is a yellow card challenge, but there's just going to be so much more. I can see it, but what a run that was from Reece James.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic from Reece James. All I'm going to say is I don't mind Ricardo Calafiori being yellow card for that because he deserves it. Because it's a terrible bit of play in midfield to give the ball away. He then decides, you know what, I don't fancy Reece James. I'm just going to pull him back. It's really, really poor from the Italian.
ผมก็ขี้เกียจมาไลฟ์นี่แหละพี่อาร์เซนอลก็ฟอร์มดีนะแต่ก็ขี้เกียจมาไลฟ์ติดธุระนู่นนี่นั่นก็เลยแบบเวลามาไม่ได้แต่ดูตลอดทุกนัดนะพี่
Footwork from the Brazilian to step away, then he cuts onto his right foot. He's up 1v1 against the Italian again. Good footing from him, and it's the double kiss of João Pedro. Great defending from Calafiori. In that moment when he's just being booked, if you're João Pedro, you're taking a touch round him, you're trying to beat him, but it's so poor from Pedro. It's the right decision as well, goal kick.
Yeah, really good support there from the linesman. But yeah, a bit disappointing there from João Pedro. The only thing I would say is I don't think we're going to see on too many occasions João Pedro up against Calafiori. It has been the entirety of the 28 minutes gone so far, and the fact that Estevao is now going to be running at a fullback who's on a yellow card.
Yeah,
exactly. Pulling behind, Rob Sanchez comes to meet it with the volley, and he has to come meet it because where was Chelsea's defence in that situation? So he's got to come miles off his line. That was so easy. If he didn't come off his line there, Saka's in. On goal, Mikel Arteta's just kicked the ball.
That's got to be a yellow card.
Onto the pitch. Enzo Maresca, I think he's making the point of he's not too sure what he's doing. Enzo Fernandez has just absolutely bowled the ball at Timber. He's done it again, just throwing the ball at him with a little bit of pace. And Arsenal know what they're doing, just taking the sting out of it. I mean,
this is ridiculous though.
Boring. I mean, we all know what Arsenal's tactic is, but you're 0-0 at 28.5 minutes in trying to win a Premier League, and you're trying to take 2 minutes to take just a simple throw in the halfway line. I mean, it's just silly. And he's taking a foul throw in, I think, so it goes the other way.
We cannot be seeing yellow cards handed out to Marc Cucurella for fouls if this is now not going to get punished. What Marc Cucurella did was a poor tackle. Actually, this is good from Anthony Taylor. He's giving it the way at Chelsea. Yeah. Declan Rice can complain all he wants. Arteta booted the ball back onto the pitch.
ติดสาวดีๆมันก็นิดนึงอ่ะพี่ติดสาวด้วยนิดนึง
In my head, they're more than likely going to be the league winners this season because I think they are the best team in the country. But they are going to do it playing some absolutely dross football and winning it by being a better team. But not
มันอายุมันก็เริ่มเยอะแล้วพี่อะไรแบบให้แบบอะไรวะให้แบบเนี่ยให้แบบให้แบบอดนอนแล้วเช้าไปทำงานแม่งก็ไม่ไหวแล้วอ่ะ
Is raging with the referee. How that isn't a foul, I'll never know. Rob Sanchez, just oh wow. I mean, in a game full of chaos, you can always count on Rob Sanchez being the more chaotic one somehow when all the chaos is going on in midfield. But he got away with it. He took a poor touch. He missed the ball basically, but luckily no one near him. How that wasn't a foul on Ewan Timber, I will never know. The claim for an offside flag has gone up. It's just.I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no, it is mental. I mean, this has been a really poor opening half hour from Arsenal. But so João Pedro. We've said it time and time again, haven't we, this season, that there are games where Chelsea need Liam Delap. Where they do need
ทำงานเนี่ยผมทำงานประจำไงมันก็พูดยากอ่ะพี่
head inside the penalty area. And to be honest with you, I'm shocked that Delap's not starting tonight.Whether there's a fitness thing there, whether there's a trust issue there from Enzo Maresca, I'm not sure. But I think in this game, Liam Delap should be starting ahead of João Pedro. But that foul as well, and over on the near side in the corner.
ผมทำงานประจำมามันก็แบบกลับบ้านมามันเหนื่อย
how he's missed that. Quite frankly, I think Arsenal now have probably gotten half hour into this game and gone. If we get because we're nowhere in this game.
Yeah, but as that's been said, Arsenal are on a rare attack. Back heel from Bukayo Saka isn't a great one. I expect Liam Delap to maybe start on Wednesday, but here's a chance for Chelsea coming forward. Esteban has to get back on side. Not a great ball from Gusto, but it finds Esteban in the end, who cuts inside. Great run from him. Lays it off for Enzo Fernandez, who goes for goal. Caught it okay, but a little bit too much whip, a little bit too central, and a simple save for David Raya in the end as the ball goes in behind Arsenal, looking to counter. Good covering from Malo Gusto. It goes for three. Wasn't a great pass from Esteban, was it, into Enzo Fernandez? He had to hook round it a little bit more. He couldn't run onto it and just strike it.
นี่กองหลังเราก็พลาดเหมือนกันเนี่ยเพื่อนมีคาปิเย่กับมอสเกล่าเนี่ย
I keep saying the same thing. The foundations are there for Chelsea to go and score goals. They're just waiting for the execution.
Yeah, they certainly are. I think that earlier chance from Esteban put him off taking that shot on the edge of the penalty area there. So he lays it off to Enzo Fernandez. Not a great pass from the Brazilian, but I tell you what, they're really struggling Arsenal, in particular Ricardo Calafiori. He's nowhere in this game. He really is. That's a terrible ball into midfield. Won back well by Caicedo here from Chelsea.
ไม่ดีอันตรายสุขภาพสมองเจอใช่พี่
No free kick given. Looked like he was bundled to the ground. Not a lot.
ผมตื่นตั้งแต่7 โมงเช้าจะให้แบบอดหลับมาตี 5มันก็ไม่ไหวแล้วพี่มันไม่เหมือนว่าตอนเราอยู่แบบตอนเราขายของไงตอนเราแบบอยู่ร้านเราอ่ะเราไปถึงร้านเราก็นอนได้ไง
have been made to be some dramatic thing in this game, which is slightly ruining it.
อันนี้ก็เป็นลูกน้องเขาแล้วไง
We don't mind it. That's what we want. But it's just
เราก็
slowing the
ต้อง
game
ทำงาน
down by 30 seconds to 60 seconds every single time. There's not much of a difference from that time.
ทำ YouTube มาจะ3 ปีอยู่แล้วก็ไม่ได้ตังค์สักบาทพี่คิดมาก
He doesn't slide as much, but
เขาเรียกว่าทำด้วยใจ
he clips him on the back of the same leg and he goes down. Like the first one should have been a yellow card. He's not
เอาเฮ้ยอะไรเนี่ยเสียบอลอีกแล้ว
shouldn't have been a yellow card earlier.
I think the main difference, like you said, is that he doesn't slide for this one, does he? He just kind of clips his heels from behind. But I agree with you. It's really odd game so far. I expected a lot better from Arsenal. Not necessarily for them to play a different way, because I expect nothing less from a Mikel Arteta side at this point. They are just going to ball themselves to the win. Realistically,
ถ้าวันนี้เราเสมอเราเป็นไงวะเพื่อนถ้าวันนี้เราเสมอเราจะมี30 แต้มนะนำแมนซิตี้5 แต้มนำเชลซี6 แต้มถ้าวันนี้เราเสมอนะ
I think he's going to be in trouble, but we'll come back to that in a minute. I think that's a really nasty one from Caicedo, and I think there's going to be a long check on this on live view. He's hurt himself, and they're going to hope he's okay, Caicedo, because he's going to be so important in this period. He's about to get booked, which, hey, I said it earlier, you won't get good odds for it. so I don't know if he was, well, I don't know if he's about to get booked. Actually, yeah, surely he is. I think Anthony Taylor's waiting for his theatrics to stop. In the end, Marino's still down. Well, I just covered Aston Villa Wolves, and it's the first time I've ever seen this situation. There was a challenge from John Arias. No free kick was given. Play was allowed to continue for 2 minutes. The referee stopped play to go to the monitor, meaning they were checking for a red card. No free kick was given.
Always off.
And by the way, we'll come to that in a moment. Caicedo's going to be sent off because that's an awful challenge. I said live viewing, that's an awful challenge. But the referee went to the monitor at Villa Park and gave Arias a yellow card and then a free kick, which is not a thing that I've ever seen VAR do. Caicedo's going to be gone.
เฮ้ยเป็นไรวะมิเกล โมเรโน่
He's gone in to do Mikel Merino there. That is not a player going in to put a tackle, and that is a player going in to hurt somebody. Mikel Arteta's using this opportunity as a chance to give some feedback to his players. The crazy thing is I actually thought John Arias should have been sent off earlier on for that challenge. I'll be honest, but it was good to see.
It was a weird situation. VAR don't do that though, do
No.
they? They don't give yellow. Like he stopped.
Well,
I
think it's because he hadn't given it in the first place that he goes, oh, well, it probably should have been yellow
เฮ้ย
carded.
โอ้ยแดงแล้วมั้งจังหวะเนี้ยไอ้ห่า
Yeah, VAR has basically told him check for a red card. He didn't think it was a red card, even though VAR have made him stop playing because they obviously
แดงแล้วมั้งจังหวะเนี้ยไอ้ชิบหาย
gave the free kick. That was a first for me. I did not know that was the thing. Anthony Taylor's not gone to the monitor, by the way. He's going to his pocket unless he's just been told to send him off. Me and Luke are in agreement. There is no VAR signal at the moment. No, we think he should be sent off. As of this second, Caicedo hasn't been carded yet. There's a yellow card in Anthony Taylor's
ใช่พี่
But why are VAR?
โอ้ยแดงแล้วมั้งจังหวะนี้ไอ้สัตว์เสียบโมริโน่กูอย่างเงี้ยเลยอ่ะ
You're wasting time. He's pointed to Caicedo, giving him a yellow card. We're not getting any indication that VAR are going to tell him to go over.
No, he needs to.
Wow.
There's no. Anthony Taylor clearly knows that. You know, this was a bad tackle because he wouldn't yellow card him, but he has now been told by VAR. I mean, I'm not being funny. We talk about getting the game moving and getting a bit of momentum in this game. Why would you not go and tell him to do this while two players are receiving treatment? This is ridiculous. Caicedo's going to go here, and rightly so. It is a disgraceful challenge, and he can have no complaints. I really like Moises Caicedo. As I said earlier on, I think he's having his best season in the Premier League this
ผม
year.
ว่าโดนใบแดงแน่ดูทรง
He's
แล้ว
come into this one and the head's gone from minute one. The head has been gone. He's been flying into challenges. The passing has been poor, and he's going to go here and he can have no complaints because that, quite frankly, is a disgusting challenge. He has gone in to do Merino because you can see as well, Merino.
They've been a battle all game.
They have been a battle, but the way
ไม่ได้
that
ใบแดงได้ไง
Caicedo
วะ
goes
เย็
in,
ดเค
he's
เสียบข
never
นาดนี้
trying to win the ball, given where it is. Now, if he doesn't get sent off somehow by Anthony Taylor, the smart thing for Enzo Maresca would be to bring him off. Because he's been gone for a while now, and it's culminated in one of the worst tackles I've seen all season. Anthony Taylor's had a good few views at it now. He's going to have a look. He's going to gesture the TV signal thing. He'll announce it at Stamford Bridge. I'm assuming to a ring of boos from Chelsea fans around Stamford Bridge. They can have no complaints. So it is a horrible tackle,
and it's going to be a big miss as well. That'll be 3 games out. They've got a massive game on Wednesday.
นี่มันข้อเท้าเลยนะ
against their rivals Leeds United. That's going to be a feisty game as well, with a lot of challenges going in because there is the rivalry in history with Chelsea and Leeds. Caicedo will be a massive miss for Wednesday, and he has been shown a straight red card. So the times they're about to play Chelsea, Daniel Farke's Leeds will be licking their lips because Chelsea's most important player
แดงไอ้สัตว์แดง
is now suspended
เหลือ10 คน
for that game.
แดงขอให้แฟนเชลซีด้วยนะ แดงไหมแดงไหม
Enzo Fernandez and Reece James are complaining. Well, complain to your teammate because he's the one who's let you down. He's limping
แดง
on
เปล่า
as well. He's hurt himself.
พี่สมัครผมว่าแดงว่ะ
Like that. And like I said, on live viewing straight away. I mean, yes, he gave advantage. You can say good referee and etc. Instantly knew that was high. Instantly knew that should be a red card. And it was so predictable. I think I said it 10 minutes ago.
แดงเย้วู้ฮู้โดนใบแดงไปเลยไปบ๊ายบาย
Highlighted his battle with Marino.
Yeah, absolutely. From all of this,
บ๊ายบาย
Enzo Maresca's not complained at all.
โดนแดง
They're on the sidelines
Well, he
and
can't,
gone.
can he?
And
He can't.
he's gone. What can I do? What can I do?
He can't embarrass himself
No.
on live TV.
I mean, obviously Enzo Fernandez has gone and complained to Anthony Taylor, but there's not been a decision in football that's gone against Enzo.
แดงครับแดงครับแดงครับแดงวู้ฮู้
So
อย่าเชื่อหนาว
really arguing with Anthony Taylor.
เปิดแอร์หนาวไปหน่อยเบาแอร์แป๊บนึง
Nobody
ใบแดงครับบ๊ายบาย
back foot now, and it's a lifeline for Arsenal, given how poor they've been. They've got an opportunity now from the long throw. I think this comes because Anthony Taylor played advantage, and then he's gone back to then give the card to Caicedo. It's a terrible throw in from Declan.
บ๊ายบายนะจ๊ะบ๊ายบายไกเซโด
We've got about 5 minutes, or be more about 10 minutes till half time.
บ๊ายบายไปแล้ว
This game
แด
is now
ง
been turned
โถ
on its
แรง
head.
ขนาด
I
นี้
get the feeling it's
เพื่อน
going to be one-way traffic with Arsenal just coming forward, but Arsenal haven't really looked great coming forward so far in this one.
Yeah, Yuri Timber goes to Saka, who's going to have a drive at Reece James. What a chance for Arsenal now. This would be such a big victory. It's unbelievable. This would be one of them wins where they celebrate it like they've won the Premier League, wouldn't it? It would mean that much. Hincapié's just absolutely clattered into Chalobah, who's rolling around like he's just been shot. I'm not sure if he's caught a finger in the eye or if he's just headbutted the top of his eye.
มี
He's
ทั้
been
ง
yellow
เจ
card.
ซุ
I
ส
mean,
โยเคเลสโอ
well,
เด
let's
กา
see back
เต็
again.
มไปหมด
He
เพื่อน
just looks like one of them challengers going in, unless it's an elbow. I mean, he's gone for the ball and headbutted his head. How is that a yellow card? I don't get it.
Yeah, I
ใคร
get
โด
the
น
feeling
ใช่
that he's
ใคร
gonna
โดน
get
ไกเซโด
leveled
ครับ
up
ใช่
at some point, Kieran.
ไกเซโดโดนแดงครับพี่
Arsenal are now on 4 yellow cards. 3 of the back 4 are in the referee's book. Piero Hincapié, the latest of
ไม่ใช่เขาเหลือ10 คนแล้วมึงโดนนะไม่เอานะ
Based on well to not pick up a card. In fact, he probably should have been carded earlier on when Enzo Fernandez took the ball around him and he brought it down. I will say this, right? It's not good refereeing from Anthony Taylor. You know, we shouldn't.
หมุน
We
หมุน
shouldn't
หมุน
lack
หมุน
up
หมุนหมุน
early.
โอ้ยเจ็บเจ็บโอ้ย
I told you this
did.
happened.
But all I'm going to say is it's making for phenomenal viewing. It really is. I'm having a great time watching this game. It has to be said. And I think Anthony Taylor's doing us a favour and helping us out. As frustrating as it is fantastic to watch. Anthony Taylor's now having a word with Reece James.
But what are they talking
I don't
about?
know.
ไอ้เหี้ยตัวสำรองเรามีใครบ้างวะเนี่ยเพื่อนๆไอ้สัตว์คู่เซนเตอร์โดนเหลืองคู่แล้วนะเพื่อน
Because they've all just looked to the floor, so Chalobah must still be down. But I mean, it's mental, and it was predicted. The Cucurella yellow card was poor. Zubimendi was right to be booked pretty early on. I didn't mind that. The rest
มี
of
เบน
it,
ไว้คนเดียวอ่ะ
It's all gone wrong.
มีเบน
It's
ไว้
all
คน
gone
เดียว
wrong.
อ่ะ ที่จะลงมาแทน
upside
อะ
down. Chalobah's still down at the moment. I don't know. Has he just got? I don't know. He's got a massive lump on the side of his head there as well. Pedro Neto's just watched on. I'm not sure. I mean,
They're all now
Enzo
saying
Fernandez-
Hincapié should be sent
Enzo
off.
Fernandez. I mean, what is he doing? He's looking at the referee complaining. He's booked him. He's done what you want him to do. He's not going to send him off for a collision of heads. That's just ridiculous. So, and they're still moaning. Reece James is following him, and you know what? Anthony Taylor's doing my head in, but I'm not going to be running around following him. It's one of these situations where this is infuriating. Fingers crossed, Trevor Chalobah will be okay to continue. He's having a great season for Chelsea so far. And something we haven't really mentioned, Chelsea's problems with red cards this season continues again. It's been spoken at length. A lot of players have been sent off. I'm not sure if Caicedo has had a red card already this season. Looking across,
ที่ถ้าเราชนะ
I don't think he has.
มันจะน
It's played quite a lot. We've just seen Trevor Chalobah. I mean, he's pointing to his face. He's got a massive lump.
ถ้าเราชนะได้มันจะอ้างว่ามันเหลือ10 ตัวเชื่อดิ ช่างมันให้มันอ้างไปเถอะพี่ ผมไม่สนหรอก
I'm baffled.
อยากอ้างไปมึงแพ้ก็คือแพ้
I say I'm baffled. No, I'm not really, because I understand what Chelsea are doing. They now feel they're at a disadvantage because they're down to 10, which obviously they are, right? Which is their own fault, absolutely. But they will now do everything they can to level this game. They will do. That's it. You know, I covered the game against Manchester United earlier on in the season when they went down to 10 after the red card for Robert Sanchez. And they spent the rest of the game throwing themselves round, and they got Casemiro sent off, and he was right to be sent off, Casemiro. But this will now be Chelsea for the rest of the game. It's how can we get an Arsenal player red carded? And I get the feeling they won't need to do too much, given they're already on four yellows.
Yeah, I don't know. We could see another 5 red cards in this game. It just could get like this. For as long as it's 0-0, you're going to see more fouls as well. Chelsea are going to make it more scrappy. Arsenal haven't done anything since, but since that red card, we've barely seen any football actually played. The red card was in the 38th minute. We're in the 43rd now. With barely anything's happened since Caicedo was trying to his marching orders. As we see Saka cuts inside up against Cucurella. He's trying to shrug him off. Well, Arsenal have got to use this as momentum now. Timber, decent touch, good challenge in there from Trevor Chalobah, who just holds his face there. Again, he's going to have a big shiner in the morning, isn't he? That is for sure. Well, he's already got it, hasn't he? Which is his problem.
I'm not sure he's going to be able to carry on because that's going to bother him the rest of the game. That's what he's going to be thinking about now. Every time the camera pans to him, he's touching the side of his face. He keeps prodding it. His concentration levels are going to be non-existent because he's going to be worried, understandably, about the massive plum-sized lump on the side of his face. So it's an unfortunate one, but I get the feeling he's going to have to come off at half-time.
He's landed a planet on his face. As you see, this corner ready to be taken. It's right on the goalkeeper. It's good goalkeeping from Rob Sanchez, who looks to ball them out. It's a good ball as well out to Pedro Neto. I don't think he intended it like that, but it's worked. Neto's driving forwards. He's coming inwards with not a lot of support. I think even with Chelsea having one less man, they can still so easily go and win this game. They've got enough quality. That's not quality though from Estevao. A desperate ball into the penalty area. As you now see the ball with Pedro Neto, well, we've hit the 45th. I'd be surprised if we don't have about 10 minutes of added time. Is any football? 5 minutes of added time. We barely watched any football. I mean, Arsenal have taken 3 minutes to take throw-ins. It's been 50 fouls. Here's Declan Rice though into the penalty. Finds Martinelli. Big save from Rob Sanchez. Seemed a little bit dramatic from him, but he had to get it spot on. He tries to pass it into the near bottom corner. A good counter-attack from Arsenal and a decent chance, but Rob Sanchez is forced into a save.
Yeah, I think it's a better save than you initially give him credit for, Kim, because his weight's going the other way. He does brilliantly well to get down and get it away from goal. Really good stop from Robert Sanchez. There's a chance now for Reece James on the volley down the other end. Good block from Hincapié. Martinelli scored in this fixture last season. He was very, very close to getting one this evening to put Arsenal ahead, but a really good stop from Robert Sanchez. He's having a good game, I think.
Yeah, he is, as we see.
เอาไว้ก่อนสักประตูก่อนได้ปะวะ
He's always one of those goalkeepers.
สักประตูก่อนเน
He's
อะ
got a howler in him.
In a game full of
แต่
chaos.
เซโดออกน่าจะเล่นยิงโอ้โหยิงซันเชส
Martinelli, he looks for a diagonal ball in behind.
Sanchez.
I don't think they're ever going to really work against Arsenal. Hincapié clears his lines, but it's Chelsea enjoying the remainder of this half, despite having one less man. Credit to them for that. Rob Sanchez in possession. He's going to look to play it to the left. What a terrible clearance that is from Rob Sanchez. The Chelsea players are moaning about something. I don't know what. As Nasi Marino looks in behind, it's a poor ball. Cucurella clears, but only as far as Timber, who takes a poor first touch. Enzo Fernandez then clears, looking in behind. Mosquera does well. Good covering from him. Rice gets there ahead of Estevao. The two number 41s coming head to head. As we now see 47 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes of the 5 have been played that were added on. Eze, we've not seen enough of him so far in this one.
No, we haven't. He's been crowded out pretty well. Maybe that'll change in the second half with the red card for Caicedo. But yeah, it's been pretty quiet from him, as it has for most of the forward players for Arsenal. I had it down that Mikel Merino was going to take up that number 9 position. They've played without one. They've had 4 in midfield for this entire game so far. It's very clear the game plan from Mikel Arteta. It's we're going to come and we're going to keep it 0-0 for as long as possible, and we will try and capitalise on mistakes. Like I said earlier, I don't like it. I don't think you can win a Premier League like that, but the table says otherwise.
Yes, we now see this corner ready to be taken for Arsenal. Well, they've not had many of these, have they, in this game, but a rare set-piece opportunity. It'd be interesting to see how they are from corners without Saliba and Gabriel, the 2 main threats from them. Of course, Timber is quite the threat as well, usually. As we see the corner ready to be whipped in now by Declan Rice. It's going to be an in-swinging delivery. It's right on the goalkeeper. A poor one, easily punched away by Sanchez. Only as far as Martinelli, who makes a mess of that. Estevao finds Pedro Neto. Here's a counter-attack for Chelsea. Well, he's got the pace on Eze if he can drive at him. He's now being helped by Declan Rice, but it's good play from Pedro Neto. Now here's Reece James in acres of space, driving forward straight through the heart of the midfield. Arsenal sat ever so deep. Ball to the right is a good one. Pedro Neto, good touch. And he's cutting inside onto his left foot. He's still going. Pedro Neto whips in, good ball for Estevao, and he's just evaded him as it then falls to Gusto. He puts the ball into the back post. Good blocking from Timber in the end to stop Pedro from getting on the end of it. Saka under pressure from Cucurella. Don't you dare foul him, Cucurella. That would be so silly. How easy is that for Saka to move away from Cucurella? That is dreadful as the ball's back to David Raya in a position he doesn't really want it. Clears his lines. He's going to go ahead of Calafiori, out for a throw-in. And I mean, Arsenal just look so poor.
Yeah, they do. This is what I mean. I think when you're going to win a title and you're going to, and you need to beat the big teams at the top, you have to turn up and try. You have to give it a go. And they don't. They never do. Mikel Merino now trying to time waste. This is what I mean. It's just gamesmanship. And look, it'll probably work. I think now with the red card, Arsenal will probably go on to win this game. The best teams that we've seen in the Premier League, title-winning teams of the past, your Liverpools, your Man Cities, your Chelseas, and your Manchester United, your Arsenals back in the day would go and put 4 past Chelsea and make a statement. They won't go and do that. They'll go and win this game 1-0, maybe 2-0. They'll grab one late on. And to me, I don't think that's quality football. I don't think that's title-winning football.
Yeah, unbelievable ball control from João Pedro there. That ball stayed in play as well. Enzo Fernandez battling with Mosquera. Great work from the Argentine who's up against the Spaniard, and now he's just holding it in the corner. Mosquera then clears it. He's gone down holding his face, saying there's afters from Enzo Fernandez. I'm very surprised we haven't just seen the Arsenal players just fly into that. Has the referee blown for half-time in that situation? He has, as the Chelsea players are walking over. I'm not sure if there's a little bit of afters going on. We're going to see this back just very quickly from Enzo Fernandez. He doesn't touch his face. He slightly just grabs the top of his shirt. Mosquera knows what he's trying to do, but the half-time whistle has gone at Stamford Bridge. Well, no goals as of yet, but Anthony Taylor has been a busy man. A red card, VAR sending off Caicedo for an ugly challenge, and it was the right decision to send him off. No real big opportunities so far going into the break. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions.
เพื่อนจบแล้วนะเพื่อนจบแล้วครึ่งแรกนะครับเสมอกันที่ 0-0 นะครับเดี๋ยวรอดูครึ่งหลังว่าครึ่งหลังจะมีอะไรบ้างจุดเปลี่ยนนะครับไกเซโดนะครับโดนใบแดงไปนะครับเพื่อนๆแต่ที่สำคัญคืออะไรรู้ไหมเพื่อนๆเรามีกองหน้าเยอะเรามีโอเดกาสร้างสรรค์เกมมีกาเบรียลเจซุสมาดูเอเก้วิกโตโยเคเลสอย่างเงี้ยเพื่อนเรามีตัวเยอะแต่เชลซีก็มีเหมือนกันครับมีกานาโชโคพาเมอร์ดีแลบอย่างเงี้ยเพื่อนไม่แน่โคพาเมอร์วันนี้อาจจะได้ลงนะเพื่อนโคพาเมอร์จะได้ลงดูทรงแล้วโยเคเลสอย่างเงี้ยเจซุสนะอาจจะได้ลงนะเพื่อนโอเดกาดอย่างเงี้ยมาดูเอเก้จะได้ลงมาครึ่งหลังอะอาร์เซนอลต้องบี้แล้วล่ะใช่สมัยก่อนเราคุยกันเยอะนะพี่สมัครอาร์เตต้าแก้เกมไม่ค่อยได้เรื่องนะสมัยก่อนอะเมื่อประมาณ2 ปีที่แล้วอะเนาะตอนนี้เมื่อปีที่แล้ว2 ปีที่แล้วอะอาร์เตต้าแบบแก้เกมไม่ค่อยได้เรื่องเดี๋ยวนี้นี่ดูแก้เกมดูดีขึ้นเยอะนะWe've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. At half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo
ไอ้ฟุกไปเมนแล้วเนี่ยสนใจเบอร์2ไวชิบหายไอ้ฟุกสีสวยเนาะตัวสีเนี่ยสีมันจะออกเขียวๆอ่ะเนี่ยเดี๋ยวไปเอาเองด้วยอยู่กำแพงแสนมันค่าส่งตัว210ไปเอาเองดีกว่าใช่ไหมมันตัวใหญ่ไงตัวเองมันหนัก
We've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino.
แต่ไม่รู้มันไม่มีขายไงตัวเองที่เชียร์มันมีไม่กี่ตัวเดี๋ยวหาก่อนไม่ต้องรีบเนี่ยรีบเดี๋ยวก็เจอแต่ถ้าได้ก่อนปีใหม่ก็ดี
Controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. A big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. At half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
อะไรอ่ะ
Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0,
ใช่เขาจะเอาไอ้นี่ไงเขาจะเอายาดมแต่ลืมไม่รู้ว่าหยิบอันนี้มาเนี่ยเนี้ยเก้าอี้ตัวเนี้ยเมทิกเนี่ยตัวเองเมลิกเนี่ยก็ตัว599นะก็นั่งสบายอ่ะคนนั้นที่นั่งของพี่เขาอ่ะมันมีหมอนด้วยใช่ปะแต่สู้ไอ้นั่นไม่ได้หรอกใช่ปะ
We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
ถ้าตัวเองไปตัวเองไปซื้อแวะซื้อสติกเกอร์ให้หน่อยสติกเกอร์อันนั้นอยู่ไหนอ่ะของเราอ่ะฮะไปถามเดินป่าแวะให้หน่อยนะแวะแป๊บเดียวซื้อสติกเกอร์เนี่ยแล้ววันไหนเขาไปรับตัวเองเขาไปนี่เลย
Time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. At half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's
ครึ่งหลังนำเร็วน่าจะไหลนั่นดิพี่ผมก็อยากเนี่ยอยากให้นี่เหมือนกันเนี่ยเพื่อนๆเดี๋ยวรอครึ่งหลังนะ We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli. And at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save by Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal
ชั่วโมง
0.
นึงอะประมาณตีหนึ่งครึ่ง
Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo
ตัวเองอันนี้ก็น่าสนใจนะตัวเองซื้อไปปูในข้างในอะใช้แผ่นแทนแผ่นใสปูในเต็นท์อะเนี่ยมันมันคล้ายๆพรมอะมันไม่แพงนะ
Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0.
เดี๋ยวไปดูในห้าง
First 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. Big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge. Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision.
เอ้ยลุยส์ เคลลี่ลงแล้วเหรอ
for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45 that we've had in the Premier League. We've had controversy, we've had refereeing decisions, and we've had some really good chances for both sides. The big talking point, Moises Caicedo being sent off by VAR for a really ugly challenge in midfield on Mikel Merino. Eventually, Anthony Taylor coming to the right decision. There's been a number of yellow cards for Arsenal's back four. Esteval's had a couple of good chances. Rob Sanchez has made a brilliant save to deny Gabriel Martinelli at half-time. It's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0. Half-time at Stamford Bridge, and it's Chelsea 0, Arsenal 0, and what a first 45
2-0 ก็ได้ครับ อยากได้ 3-0 มากกว่ามันเหลือ10ตัว เอาลูกหนึ่งก่อนพี่เดี๋ยวลูกอื่นค่อยว่ากันเอาลูกแรกมาก่อนงั้นลุยส์ เคลลี่นะลงแล้ว
It's a very warm welcome back to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of this Premier League fixture between Chelsea and Arsenal. The two sides went in at half-time at 0-0. But they did go in at half-time, however, with one side down to 10. Moises Caicedo being sent off for a truly awful tackle on Mikel Merino about midway through that first half. As we've got a stoppage. 30 seconds into this second half, we're continuing in the same vein as we did in the first. As myself, Lugashos, alongside me is Kieran Graham to take you through all of the action. And well, Kieran, we'll talk about the change in a second, but yeah, nothing's changed clearly as João Pedro hits the deck.
They're claiming it should be a second yellow card on Hincapié just because he's collided heads. He's headbutted, not headbutted, he's headed João Pedro on the side cheek, and once again, they're going to claim for it. I feel like with how chaotic this game is, I can just see Madueke scoring off the bench in a game like this against his former club. It's just set for something weird like that to happen. João Pedro is not happy. It's a free kick for Chelsea, so a decent chance. Because Garnacho coming on at half-time as well as Lewis Skelly. So let's see how that almost pans out. But João Pedro is raging.
Yeah, he's absolutely furious, the Brazilian. Another facial injury, we'll say, for Chelsea already at the start of this second half. Kieran's just mentioned there, Lewis Skelly on for Arsenal in place of Ricardo Calafiori. He was on a yellow card, and on comes Garnacho to replace Esteval for Chelsea. Cross comes in towards the back. Wow. For Pedro, and he's forced a brilliant save out to David Raya. Brilliant start for Chelsea in this second half. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so, but that, Kieran, I reckon, is the closest anybody's got to scoring this evening.
Yeah, it is, and David Raya, he's recovered a good save, and I tell you what, he needed to, because he was caught in no man's land. The reason
หายเพื่อนเชลซีนำเฮียอะไรเนี่ย
he was caught.
คุยเลยเนี่ย10 คนนำโอ้โหอะไรเนี่ย
Or is it Trevor Chalobah? He wheels away celebrating.
Chelsea
have the lead with 10 men.
Yeah, and it's fully deserved. Even after the red card, Chelsea have been the better of the two sides. They've started this second half brilliantly, and there's absolute pandemonium behind the goal at Stamford Bridge. I assume that it's Chalobah who got the final touch, but the camera lingers on Mikel Arteta. He's come with a game plan. It's failed miserably this evening, and it's Chelsea currently on track to take all 3 points. It's early in the second half, but it's the 10 men that have the lead.
And it is, and we see it back now. I thought it was Declan Rice. No, it isn't. It is Chalobah who flicks it on. It's genius in the end at that front post, and seeing it back again. Trevor Chalobah, what a flick on that is. Mosquera's too busy thinking about getting Enzo Fernandez's shirt after, so he doesn't even jump at the back post. I mean, what is Mosquera doing? That is awful. The marking at the front post is terrible. Chelsea have the lead. I tell you what, it's deserved. They've got 10 men, and yes, rightly so, he was sent off. It was embarrassing for Caicedo, but Chelsea, they've rose to the occasion in this game. You just can't deny it. They deserve this lead, and Trevor Chalobah, he's giving it the big one. He's giving it the big one, this celebration. Rightly so. He's had a lot of drama in this game. Well, he won't be feeling the face now. The adrenaline will be burning through him. That substitution is not really worked for Mikel Arteta, but Trevor Chalobah is on the score sheet, and Chelsea have something to hold on to.
Yeah, they certainly do. And all of a sudden,
โดนมงพี่โดนลูกเตะมุม
in blue behind the ball. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so.
มงดีมอกลูกนี้
Potential Arsenal
เฮ้ย
attack.
อะไรกันวะ
Down as a
โอ้โห
back to front. Here is Martin Zubimendi, one of 4 players to be yellow carded for Arsenal in that first half. Only 3 of them are now on the pitch after that substitution to bring off Ricardo Calafiori, but he is on a yellow card along with Piero Hincapié and Christian Mosquera. As for Chelsea, just the 1 yellow card, not going the way of Marc Cucurella inside 11 minutes. But Moises Caicedo, of course, as we've already mentioned, sent off for that challenge on Mikel Merino in the first half. As here come Arsenal now down the far side. Bukayo Saka one-on-one with Garnacho.
พอไม่มีซาลิบากับคาเบียลแม่ง
straight towards goal is
เป็นผลเหมือนกันเว้ย
deflected. As Robert
ไม่
Sanchez
เป็นไรเว้ย
kept it
ยัง
in.
มีเวลา
I think
40 กว่า
he
นาที
has. And well played there from the Chelsea shot stopper, because that was trickling out for a corner, and we know how dangerous Arsenal can be from corners. Just give me a chance to run you through the teams for Chelsea. Robert Sanchez in goal, back 4 of Gusto Fofana, Chalobah and Cucurella. Midfield 2 now with James and Fernandez, with Garnacho and Neto supporting Joao Pedro through the middle. As for Arsenal, it's David Raya in goal.
นั่นน่ะดิ
Back 4 of Lewis
มันไม่มีซาลิบากาเบียลมันก็รู้สึกยังไงไม่รู้อ่ะพี่ วันนี้ไอ้คาเปเย่กับมอสเกล่าดูลนๆดูลวนๆเหมือนกันมันอย่างน้อยมันต้องมีสักคนหนึ่งอ่ะพอมันไม่มีคนหนึ่งแม่งก็เลยรู้สึกไอ้นี่
Back to Mosquera once more. Thought about a chip ball into the box. Instead, we'll just hold on to it for a moment. The only thing I would say, Kieran, about Chelsea getting this goal is it's great because it gives them something to hold on to, and they can now look to try and sit deep and defend. But is this a Chelsea team that can sit deep and defend for this amount of time, for what is basically an entire 45 minutes? Or would they not just be better continuing playing how they were playing before and just try and keep things going?
Well, with how bad Arsenal have been, they absolutely can. So this, in my opinion, Arsenal are going to have to make changes pretty soon in this one, because I mean they've got an extra man. Get your attackers on, get Gyökeres on, get Noni Madueke onto the pitch. They've all been poor. There's no point me singling out a couple of players.
แล้วโดนใบเหลืองเร็วทั้งคู่ไงมันก็เลยพูดยากเล่นยากเลย
He's been the worst player on the pitch, in my opinion. He's been absolutely dreadful, but we see Arsenal coming forwards now. That's better from Zubimendi.
Yeah, much better from the Spaniard down the far side now. It's with Urian Timber inside to Bukayo Saka. Skips one way, then the other. Good challenge comes in from Cucurella. Clearance is hooked up into the air by Chalobah. Fernandez now will battle with Timber to win the ball. He does well to flick it away. And then Cucurella will lay it off to the Argentinian. He'll just hoof it down the other end of the field. And now play for an Arsenal.
อะไรกันเนี่ยวันนี้กูต้องเจอกับอะไรเนี่ย
From David Raya of all players. We'll throw the ball in, but we've got a problem now for a player in blue. And well, we said the first half was stop-start. We expected the second half to be stop-start. It's not going to be any less now that Chelsea have got the lead, and that from Enzo Fernandez, the perfect example. He's hit the deck holding on to his lip. I'd love to know where that collision has come from, as Liam Delap's getting ready to come on for Chelsea.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Maybe an eye on Wednesday's fixture as well for Chelsea, and thinking about Liam Delap's introduction. But yeah, there's been a lot of drama about it. Daniel Farke had a lot of comments to say about Donnarumma going down, time wasting it at 2-1. He actually came out and hammered Manchester City for that. Did the Leeds manager Enzo Fernandez. I mean, Chelsea are going to do a lot of that. They're going to wind up Arsenal now, because this has been a back and forth tit for tat type of game between the two, and Chelsea will want these bragging rights.
Yeah, they certainly will do, and it's more than just bragging rights, because they'll go within 3 of today's opponents at the top of the table. As things stand, they're up to second, leapfrogging Manchester City, despite the Citizens' late dramatics against Leeds yesterday afternoon. Will be Arsenal remaining at the top as things stand, only by the 3 points. However, Chelsea then in second, Manchester City in third, and well, you'd say they're the 3 that are up there. I'll break off for a second because the ball comes in from Timber on the far side, easily gathered in the end by Robert Sanchez, as that's a really poor pass out, but then Reece James has done well to get away from Lewis Skelly, and I expect that's going to be the youngster's first yellow card. I say first yellow card, the youngster's yellow card, and indeed it is. Well, we were having this conversation, weren't we, Kieran, before kick-off of the second half. You were adamant that Lewis Skelly's probably going to see red, at least see yellow. Well, there is the yellow.
Yeah, I just had that feeling, and I was making it clear to you, Luke, when we saw he was coming out. I said, the guy's going to get booked, and I feel Lewis Skelly might be the player to level it out for a red card. Yep, yellow card, it only took him 8 minutes. Told you, mate.
อะไรกันเอาเพื่อนไปเชี่ยไม่อยากพูดเยอะแล้วผมอะดูบอลอย่างเดียวดีกว่าพี่
Doesn't look overly happy, the Brazilian, but on comes Liam Delap to replace him. Chelsea's number 9. I think that's a really sensible bit of management there from Enzo Maresca.
Yeah, it means João Pedro, he's had 54 minutes of a decent performance under his belt. He can start against Leeds out on Wednesday, have an important
โดนเหลืองอีกลูอิส กิลลี่ลงมาอะไรกัน
Liam Delap's going to get some valuable minutes as well. It's more of a focal point to him for now.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're down to 10 and your back's against the wall, you need a striker who's going to be there to win those loose balls over the top. That's a decent ball down the line for Timber. Back to Declan Rice. That's a hopeful ball in, but Martinelli will get there. He finds Pedro. He loses it, I should say, sorry, to Pedro Neto. Will then link up with Gusto to get it cleared down the line. Delap doesn't win the initial ball, but Reece James wins it back in midfield and pings a beauty over onto the far side for Alejandro Garnacho. One-on-one with Declan Rice. What can the former Manchester United man do here? He can kick it against Declan Rice and win a corner on the far side. Didn't fancy taking on Declan Rice there, Alejandro Garnacho. It's out of play for a Chelsea corner over on their left-hand side. And well, we know what happened the last time Chelsea got one of these corners on the left-hand side, and clearly so does the TV directors, because the camera is lingering on Trevor Chalobah. Wesley Fofana's up from the back as well. Reece James certainly taking his time going over to take it. You've only got the 4 blue shirts inside the penalty area. Pedro Neto on the edge, Fofana and Chalobah standing around the penalty spot. Fofana deep in conversation with somebody. Delap's in there, as is Enzo Fernandez. Now eventually Cucurella makes his move towards the near post. Reece James, ball towards the near post is poor. Easily headed away in the end by Rice. It will be gathered up by Garnacho. Back to Reece James. Another cross that's not brilliant. Fofana battling for it. Looked like he'd fouled his man inside the penalty area. Referee says no. Arsenal can get it clear, but Martinelli hounded out there far too easily by Neto and Gusto. And the Blues have the ball back again once more. Neto.
ไม่น่าเอาคาราออกน่าจะเอาเซนเตอร์แบ็กออกเพราะโดนใบเหลืองทั้งคู่เอาคาราเล่น
towards
แทนเซนเตอ
Garnacho.
ร์
Header
ได้
won by
สูง
Timber.
ใหญ่ดีด้วย
Header out to play.
คารามันก็โดนใบเหลืองเหมือนกันไงพี่เขาก็เลยเอาคาราออก
Arsenal now. So look to try and
ลุ
get
ยส์
the
เกลลี่ลงมาก็โดนใบเหลือง
Chelsea man Noni Madueke and Captain Martin Ødegaard ready to come off of the bench. I'm a little bit surprised these changes weren't made at half-time along with the Calafiori change, but I guess this just sums up Mikel Arteta's mentality of we will win this game 1-0 and that's how we're
ต้อง
going to
เปลี่ย
win
น
it.
ตัวแล้ว
They can't.
ต้องเอาตัวโอเดการ์ดมาสร้างสรรค์เกมแล้ว
For Zubamendi, Madueke on for Martinelli, and well, surely you do this at 0-0.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
อะไรกันวันนี้
I wasn't necessarily too baffled by not making the changes at 0-0. It needed to be made now, definitely. Madueke has to go start running at his man. He's playing on the left side. Ødegaard is
เอา
good to
เพื่อน
see
โอ
him
เด
back
การ์ด
in.
มาด้วยเก้มาว่ะ
In the win at home to West Ham last month, so he's missed quite a bit of football. He returned last game against Bayern Munich, albeit only
เจอ
for
ทีมเก่าอ่ะ
11 minutes. He's going to get a lot more now, but of course he's the so important. He's Martin Ødegaard as much as maybe his form has dipped over the last 12 months or more. So him and Eze playing together, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will be. It's very much an attacking lineup now with Declan Rice, the only real
เฮ้ยชูมินออกว่ะ
non-attacking midfielder. Really, I was going to say the only defensive-minded midfielder, but he's not a holding midfielder at all, is he anymore? Declan Rice. Interesting to see Madueke's gone onto the left-hand side. You're not expecting Madueke to replace Saka over on the right, are you? But he'll have to do a lot of work to get.
เราโดนเหลืองแบบ3คนน่ะเราโดนเหลืองหมดเลยอ่ะแล้วชูมินดิวินดี้ก็ออกอ่ะชูมินออกเพราะโดนเหลืองไง ตอนนี้คนที่อยู่ในสนามเรามีโดนเหลืองอยู่3คนนะครับมอสเกล่าอีคาปิเย่แล้วก็มอสเกล่าลุยส์เกลลี่เนี่ย3คนเราโดนเหลืองอยู่อ่ะเอาเว้ยเอาหน่อยเว้ยเพื่อนๆเหี้ยลูกตีเสมอต้องมาโยเคนเลสเจอซุดอ่ะอยากเห็นเจซุดเล่นอ่ะผมชอบเจซุดมาแล้วลุย
because they've now not got the lead to hold on to. The light for Arsenal, they get back into this one. Plenty of time to find
ไปแล้วไปมาดูเก้โอเดการ์ดดีแล้วโอเคไม่มีไรไม่มีไร
from him, and he's looking around, waving his arms, blaming everyone
Saka.
else, but himself. But that is all from the Frenchman, and the bullet header from Marino. He's so good in those positions. It's a massive goal for Arsenal.
ซาก้าลากไปสุดเส้นซาก้าเปิดเข้าไปมงเรียบร้อย1-1มาดูเก้ไม่ใช่มิลิโน่ครับเพื่อน
get a free header on goal. It's really poor from Kukurea, it has to be said. He looks
1-1แล้วครับตัวเอง1-1แล้ว1-1แล้ว
He wasn't one of those running it in with pace. He's just moving with a bit of agility. Kukurea just could not do anything about it. Really good ball in there. Nothing away from the
1-1แล้วพิสมัคร1-1แล้วครับมิเกลโมลิโน่
Probably got to change a little bit here for Chelsea. Here they are coming forward now with Enzo Fernandez. To Reece James inside the centre circle now for Chalobah. I did question whether it was the right game plan for Chelsea to try and hold on to that one-goal lead. And in the end, been proven right. It probably wasn't, as Bukayo Saka has gone through Mark Kukurea there. Kukurea hit the deck, wanted a foul. I think Ante Tej just played advantage. Bukayo Saka certainly wasn't happy with Mark Kukurea there, the way that he hit the deck, and I'd argue rightly so. Ball now at the feet of Wesley Fofana. Thought about launching the ball down the line. Still will just hold on to it, then tries to play the pass. Intercepted by Lewis Skelly. Good bit of play there from Marino to let the ball run. Plays it off to Madueke. Ball into the middle of the park is not won by Eberechi Eze, and then Delap just decides to go for a slide on the floor. Not really quite sure why. Brought on to hold the ball up, and done anything but there. As Arsenal are trying to exploit the mistake. Can't do so.
1-1เอาอีก
This is a really important part of the match now for Chelsea. They've got to get their heads down and really dig in here because it's all the momentum with Arsenal.
Yeah, and Liam, what was he doing there? That was dreadful from him. It's like he wanted
นะ
contact.
เพื่อนใครเข้ามาแล้วฝากกดไลค์กดแชร์ฝากกดติดตามให้ด้วยนะครับเพื่อน
Embarrassed himself a little bit as the number 9, 61 minutes on the clock. It is still 1-1, but Arsenal are the side that have the momentum now.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're playing like the side with momentum as well. As Nkapie moves the ball forward nicely to Lewis Skelly. Momentarily back to Rice, but he'll then move it forward to Ødegaard. Ødegaard one-on-one with Fernandes. Calling the penalty area, will move it down the line for Saka. Right footer ball into the box. It's a poor one.
นี่ครับมีโอเดการ์ดมาไม่ต้องห่วงหรอกไม่ต้องห่วงหรอกถ้ามามีโอเดการ์ดอะ
Neto's going to have a run here at Nkapie, and he's moving at pace. Pedro Neto into the penalty area.
ถ้ามีโอเดการ์ดไม่ต้องห่วงหรอกบอลสร้างสรรค์อยู่แล้ว
He has a few words with Pedro Neto, but that is absolutely brilliant from Nkapie.
Yeah, and I quite like that as well. He's got up and roared in the face of Pedro Neto, and Pedro Neto is laughing in his face back as well. I don't mind that. It sets the tempo even
คนดู
more
บอก
for
ว่า
an
ที่เขา
extra
ไม่เป็นไรเพ
battle
ราะเขา
of
ติด
Pedro
สาว
Neto.
เลยตัวเอง
He's laughing. He's getting the
คนดู
Chelsea
บอกที่เขาไม่เป็นไรเพราะเขาติด
They're
สาว
all up for this.
Yeah, he's. This is a game that's had the makings of this sort of fixture since minute one.
ติดสาวเลยไม่ไลค์เลยทิ้งเลยทิ้งเลย
Into action in the last few moments or so as this corner's going to get
ไปแล้ว
retaken again. Ødegaard throwing himself to the floor, holding onto his head. Didn't look like there was anything untoward in the box, but we'll just see a replay of it now. What
ไป
happens
ไป
here?
ไปไปผมก็ติดสาวนิดนิดหน่อยพี่
Literally nothing.
เออ
That is embarrassing. It is going to be a long evening if we're going to have players continue to do that. Ødegaard flexing his jaw as if any contact was made there whatsoever. Really poor from Martin Ødegaard. And the corner is now going to be taken.
จะเปรี้ยวมากมึงอะไอ้คาปิเย่มึงอะเปรี้ยวมากไอ้สัตว์โดนเหลืองไปแล้ว
Corner swung in towards the near post. Kukurea trying to flick it on. Chelsea keep doing this every time I see them. They keep trying to chip the ball to the near post and get somebody to flick it on, and it never works. The reason why the one they scored today was they didn't chip it in. Reece James fired it in, and it was glance. So frustrating why they continue to do it, Chelsea. But here now are Arsenal on the attack. Madueke looking for options around him. He's held up well by Neto and by Gusto before he goes back inside to Declan Rice. Rice thought about playing the ball into the box. Instead he will fire it over onto the Arsenal right, where Bukayo Saka can try and bring it down. That one out of play. Good spot there from the linesman. And that's going to be a Chelsea throw-in over on the far side.
เดี๋ยวมาลุยเก้ยิงทีมเก่า
And Chelsea have possession back once more. Kukurea though, he's going to take his time over this. He's really looking for anybody by the looks of things. Still got the ball in hand. Still waiting to throw it in. He turned round. Now eventually we get the ball in. It's held up well by Delap. Flicks it around the corner for Garnacho. We'll slow things down. Just move it back to Kukurea. Well, Chelsea can maybe commit some more bodies forward. It is now with Fofana. Back to Chalobah.
แหมโดนโหซะด้วยโดยเก้กู
Holds on to it before firing it down the near side. Looking towards Neto, but it's nowhere near the Portuguese international. Play will be slowed down now by the Arsenal backline. Here is Mosquera into midfield now for Ødegaard.
เชลซีนี่มัน10 คนก็ไม่ธรรมดานะเพื่อนมันก็บุกใส่เหมือนกันนะเอาจริงๆอ่ะไม่ธรรมดานะ
Back to Nkapie once more. Eze 40 yards away from goal, being hounded by Reece James. Eventually the ball is moved over onto the far side from Mosquera. Lays it off to Ødegaard. Ødegaard now looking for options around him, opens his body.
ไม่ธรรมดานะจริงเชลซีอ่ะแล้วมีหือมีอือนะไม่ได้รอตั้งรับให้ผมว่ามาทิก้าเล่นฉลาดนะเพื่อนที่ไม่ต้องมาตั้งรับอ่ะมาบุกสู้เลยมาทิก้าเล่นฉลาดบุกสู้ไปเลย
from the Argentinian, but it's been gathered well by Reece James. Lays it off to Gusto. Gusto now onto the right-hand side for Pedro Neto and Chelsea. Got to restart along the back line once more. There's no belief from any of these Chelsea players that they can beat an Arsenal man one-on-one, is there?
No, they put a lot into it, so there's a lot of tired legs. It feels that wasn't a bad ball from Garnacho. Poor touch from Gusto. What is Lewis Skelly doing? I don't know what he's doing. Declan Rice He's furious with him, but here come Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea now over on the far side. Ball in from Garnacho is poor, easily dealt with by Rice. Eze will then try moving on to the near side for Madueke. Miscontrolled by the former Chelsea man, but he's done so well there. Noni Madueke to buy the foul from Wesley Fofana. Really poor from the Frenchman, but it's very, very clever from Madueke.
Yeah, it is. That's stupid from Wesley Fofana. He's been quite poor, in my opinion. At fault for the goal, in my opinion, as well. I mean, he's got Madueke running straight into touch to give away a throw-in, and he just goes and clatters him. I mean, what is he thinking there?
Yeah, really, really disappointing. But play will continue with Arsenal in possession. Here is Declan Rice onto the near side now for Eze. Tries to feed Madueke down the line. Interception made though by Gusto. Back to Robert Sanchez. Will swing a right boot at it. Down the line. Header won by Reece James not once but twice. The lap blow too short. Gathered by him.
โดนไลท์ด่าเลยอะลุยส์เคลลี่
Taking time over this. Just slowly moving the ball forward before eventually
ฉลาดมาก ฉลาดมาก
Mosquera now in Chelsea territory. Feed Ødegaard down the line. There's one way then the other. Looking for options. Just moving inside to Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly now finds Madueke just outside the penalty area on the left hand side. Played down the line to Hikapié. Poor pass from Madueke, but poor touch from Gusto. Allows Ødegaard to win it back. Finds Madueke. He's tackled well by Fernandez, but still it's a player in red with the ball. This time it's Declan Rice. Forward to Marino. Marino then tries to find Eze. Poor header away from Cucurella. Marino will then gather. And a good header away from Fofana. Rice battling for it. Lewis Skelly now. Back down to Hikapié. Hikapié into midfield. Or along midfield, I should say, for Mosquera. Arsenal being so patient in their build-up, not really making any inroads, however. Ødegaard go back inside to Rice, quickly to Mosquera, now with Marino. Marino back to Mosquera. Over onto the far side for Timber. Timber with Mosquera once more. Stepping towards the penalty area now. And, that's terrible from Mikel Marino. Wants the ball over on the far side. He's miskicked that horribly, and that's just rolled out of play for a throw-in. But we can see what's happening here now. It's Chelsea now, by looks of things, holding on to the draw, and Arsenal are just buying their time, trying to create the chances. But we are into the final quarter of this one. It's been a really interesting game so far. Second half maybe slightly less entertaining than the first 45, but we were spoilt in that first half. It's Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Going to hand it over to Kieran to take us through to full time.
Yeah, and there's a ball into the penalty area. Thank you very much, Luke. It's well defended by Reece James. Goes behind for a corner. It does just feel like Arsenal are biding their time. They're waiting to hit in Chelsea now. They're tired, and it feels like Arsenal are going to find a way through in this one. Chelsea are going to have to do some superb defending to see this one out. It's a corner coming up for the Gunners as we're waiting to see this one whipped in. It's going to be an in-swinging delivery from Bukayo Saka. Mosquera is in discussion with someone. They're all lining up at that back post. Is it time for a new person on the block to be a nuisance from these set pieces instead of Gabriel or Saliba? Anthony Taylor is telling Saka to take it now. Saka whips it in towards that back post into a decent area, but it's so easy for Rob Sanchez just to hold on to. It's a poor delivery from Saka in the end, and no one attacked it.
Yeah, really poor from Bukayo Saka, but I don't think Arsenal should say, sorry, set themselves up well enough for that type of delivery into the
เอาเว้นเพื่อนเหลือ20 นาทีสุดท้ายแล้วนะ เอาหน่อยเว้ยอาร์เซนอลไอ้เหี้ยเอาหน่อยมันทีมพลังหนุ่มเด็กๆทั้งนั้นใช่พี่ก็จริงอ่ะแต่มันเล่นดีนะผมว่ามันเล่นดีนะโอเค
Into the penalty area, Garnacho still going, goes inside too much, and then Anthony Taylor gets in Saka's way, dings ball in towards the back post, then Pedro Neto with the header, heads it down into the ground. David Raya with a simple save in the end. David Raya looked like he ran out of his own penalty area then, but nothing was given. Martin Ødegaard in possession, decent chance though, but Garnacho, he took a couple poor touches, did well to keep it alive though.
Yeah, he did. I think most of the credit there has got to go to Cucurella, but they do build up really nicely to begin with there. Do Chelsea. really good from Reece James, really good initially from Garnacho, and just decision making not there, and it hasn't been at times this season for Chelsea. Biggest bugbear so far for the Blues. Saka's going to go for goal from distance. That's over the crossbar, always leaning back there. Bukayo Saka never felt comfortable taking that shot on.
เอาโยเคเลสมา
Certainly didn't from distance, cutting onto his stronger left foot. Pretty similar to what we saw from Esteban in the first half. Well, it's time for Gyökeres for Arsenal. The big number 9 is coming on, and he's coming on for Eze. That's an interesting one. That means that I presume Mikel Merino is going to drop that a little bit deeper.
Yeah, you'd assume so, wouldn't you? You'd have Gyökeres up top. Maybe they go to a front 2 and they have a midfield 2. Maybe it's a bit more of a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2. But yeah, Gyökeres on. Obviously a bit more of a penalty box specialist from the likes of Mikel Merino and Eze, who of course he's just come on to replace. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens from here.
ยิงโอ้โห
Gyökeres this, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is. Eze didn't have his greatest of games, did he? Coming off the back of a unbelievable hat-trick in the North London derby. Hincapie has almost made a mess. The back just about clears his lines. Good strength from Gusto up against Madueke.
มาแล้วโยเคเลสนะครับมาแล้วแทนใครอ่ะแทนเอเซ่ครับวันนี้เอเซ่ก็ดูเงียบๆเพื่อน
The Chelsea players, where I'm starting to sense the frustration now from the Chelsea players as well. I think that's quite clear, isn't it, for the time being? And Hincapie is getting ready to take this free kick.
วันนี้เอเซ่ก็ดูเงียบเหมือนกัน
These two sides, of course, as mentioned, big game on Wednesday for Chelsea. It's the trip to his rivals Leeds away from home. And for Arsenal coming up as well, they've got a home game against Brentford, so a big game that you expect them to win, but Brentford away from home terrible, at home brilliant, so we expect a terrible Brentford to turn up, but you never really know in a game like that. As Madueke looks to get the better of Neto, great ball across the face of goal. Saka's too on his toes at the back post, and now it's going to be Declan Rice from distance, dinks it towards the right. It's a great ball for Saka across the face of goal. He gets it all wrong. What a chance that was for Saka to hook that across for a tap in for Merino. He's onside as well. That could have been a big moment, but he gets it wrong on his right boot.
I think Correa covers off the angle really quite well to make it difficult. He miskicks it, Saka, yes, but he has to think about it an awful lot more with Correa stood there. The changes need to come for Chelsea. They really do. They've only made 2 so far. Arsenal have been proactive. They've made 4. The midfield is non-existent, and you've mentioned the frustration is growing. The frustration is growing because they're tired, because they are all dead on their feet. We need to see somebody like an Andre Santos, a Jamie Gittins or a Cole Palmer come on, or even all 3, and just get some fresh legs on there, and you know, relieve a little bit of pressure from some of these players that are clearly struggling out there.
I'm really surprised he's not brought Andre Santos on in this one. He had a really good game against Barcelona midweek. This is the type of game when they're probably missing having Romeo Lavia as an option through injury. Of course, that's a poor ball from Saka, who's going to have to play for a goal kick. 74.5 minutes on the clock, 1-1 between these two sides. Seeing the Arsenal bench watching on, talking about some potential tactics for the remainder of this one. Gabriel Hines, of course, part of the backroom staff. Not a great clearance from Rob Sanchez there, straight into the head of Declan Rice. Bukayo Saka finds Rice, great ball into Ødegaard, who's got a lot of space to run into. I don't know why Cucurella has put himself so high up the pitch in this scenario. Ødegaard still going himself, looks for the ball in behind, good inception by Chalobah, and now there's a counter-attack on for Chelsea as well, if they can get some bodies forward. Trevor Chalobah has done an amazing run for the time being, and then he plays an awful ball. I mean, he's blaming Garnacho. That is Chalobah's fault.
He's going wide.
เอาหน่อยเว้ยอาร์เซนอลเรา
Garnacho would need to be
เอาหน่อย
using on steroids to have been there on time. He's hit that so hard and so early.
เหลือ15 นาทีแล้วนะไม่เอานะ
He's always the last person you want coming forward on the counter attack there, isn't he? You'd much rather Cucurella in that position. That's great work from Neto to get across to that pass on the near side there and put it out of play for a throw in. But yeah, that was a big opportunity for Chelsea. What it does do, however, is it gets the ball down the other end of the field.
I've never seen Arsenal pass the ball so poorly on a consistent basis in this one. Well, for a long time, the amount of times they've given the ball away just so needlessly. It's unbelievable. As we see Gyökeres now goes towards the right-hand side for Timber. He finds Ødegaard. There's a chance here. Lovely dink ball in behind. He's impeded with play there. Surely offside. He's gone in behind for a goal kick. Better defending from Fofana.
Yeah, much better from Fofana. Really quite impressive from him. The camera lingers on the linesman. I don't know if he necessarily interferes with play. I mean, to be fair, he does jump over it. If Andy Robertson was offside against Manchester City a few weeks ago, then that is absolutely offside because he jumped over the ball. It's the same thing in my eyes. But either way, it doesn't really matter because the ball's out of play for a goal kick. So pretty much the same result.
You won't let that one go, will you? The Andy Robertson. Well, we covered that game, didn't we? And I mean, yeah, that was a ridiculous decision in my opinion. And he's going to be a reference point now. I think he's that one for a lot of scenarios that happen in the Premier League. As we see the ball go in behind, Liam Delap wins it, does really well actually. Here's Garnacho on the left-hand side. Silly tackle from Timber, just doesn't need to do that.
No, he doesn't. He's gone through the back of Alejandro Garnacho there. And rightly so, Anthony Taylor pulls it back for a free kick. He is the only one of 5 defenders for Arsenal this evening that hasn't been yellow carded. That probably should have been a yellow card, kicking him from behind. But yeah, at the minute he's doing pretty well to escape one.
Yeah, as you now see this free kick ready to be taken. Well, I hope we can find a winner in this game for the extra added bit of drama. Pedro Neto and Reece James and the men over this one. Getting ready to whip it in. 77.5 minutes on the clock. Free kick. This is Chalobah, Fofana and Liam Delap are up there. Seems like not very packed area, but now they're all starting to move in a little bit more. Pedro Neto whips it in, hangs it towards the back post where Enzo Fernandez is there. He wins it. Fofana scuffs his effort. Decent chance. Enzo Fernandez is down and hurt. And says Chalobah can only be cleared as far as Cucurella. Here's Liam Delap. Hits it from distance. Good save from David Ryan. Not a terrible attempt. Needed to get a bit more power and loft on him. Liam Delap, but it's a half chance.
Yeah, he doesn't connect with it brilliantly, does he? Liam Delap. It needed to be a more convincing strike. Will break off because here come Arsenal.
Here's Saka, who goes for goal. Poor effort from him on his weaker right foot. Skies it miles over the bar in the end. David Raya and Enzo Fernandez. What is Enzo Fernandez doing? While that's all going on at the other end, Saka's about to almost score. Enzo Fernandez is still at the other end of the pitch, mouthing off with David Raya. What an absolute idiot Enzo Fernandez is. If Arsenal scored then, I mean, he'd have looked like an absolute moron, because David Raya would have gone mental, knee sliding everywhere, and he'd have been at the other end of pitch, Enzo Fernandez, and all of his teammates would have looked at him and thought, what are you doing down there?
He can't stop himself, Enzo Fernandez. Honestly, it's absolutely hilarious. Every week this is without fail. He finds himself arguing with invariably at 5 different players. He wasn't happy with the collision, with Lewis Skelly, all because they just jumped up into the air with each other. He's so angry. The man must, be a nightmare to be around off the football field, because he just never looks like he's anything other than furious. And he's won a throw-in over on the far side. Now, there's a smile. That's a bit better from Enzo Fernandez. But yeah, that would have been absolute calamity. It really would have been. And Arsenal gone down the other end and scored while he is arguing with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez has gone down and he's angry again. Cucurella's now giving away a free kick. That decision from the referee. He's not too happy, but what a silly free kick to give away again. Don't give the referee the decision to make. I'll never understand that foul in football. I'll never understand why players do it. As you see, Hincapie in possession. Finds Declan Rice with just over 10 minutes remaining of this.
10 นาทีสุดท้ายแล้วนะเพื่อน
Arsenal won. Mosquera driving forwards. He finds Yuri and Timber. It's back to Mosquera. Madueke cuts inside. Great challenge. What a challenge. And Enzo Fernandez has got into Madueke's face. I mean, I would say it's former teammates. They're probably friends. I don't think Madueke really got out well with anyone, did he, at Chelsea? He had a lot of his problems. As you see, Miles Lewis Skelly, he's driving forwards. Good work from Reece James. And now can Chelsea attack? They can. Reece James on the attack. That's great refereeing for Anthony Taylor. Why is he not past it? Reece James, he's giving the free kick in the end. I mean, that's not great refereeing. because you've given the advantage and Reece James has failed with it. Why is Reece James not sent him down the left-hand side there?
I think he feels like there's no point attempting to play that ball when Liam Delap's down injured and there's not enough bodies forward. That would be my only thinking, because he looked twice, Reece James, before holding on to it too long. But you're right, that Anthony Taylor did play the advantage, and that, you know, is really, really poor from Reece James, and he gets away with it. Also, not entirely sure it was a foul. Liam Delap went down like a sack of potatoes there under the challenge, and well, we're into the final 10 minutes, and I still don't know which way this game's going to go.
Yeah, as we just see Mikel Arteta backing his orders at his side. They've got to try and find a winner. Arsenal in this one, got to make use of the extra man advantage that they've had for a long time in this game. Mosquera goes out to David Raya. He's going to look to clear his lines. Not a great clearance. He slices it and it goes to Chalobah. He plays it to the left. Enzo Fernandez coming forward now, looking to turn away from Madueke. Nice footwork from him. If I was Madueke, I think I'd have just left one in on him after what he'd done earlier. As we see, Chalobah goes across to Fofana, who turns away from Gyökeres. We've not seen anything of Gyökeres so far.
No, we haven't, and not entirely surprising. Before he got injured, when he was fully fit, we weren't really seeing much of him then, and now he's playing himself back into fitness. I'm not overly surprised that we're not seeing much of him now. He's not that type of player to link up play and get involved. He likes to sit inside the penalty area and wait for the ball to come to him. And I don't think that it's that kind of game today. Liam Delap's just kicked out there at Yuri and Timber, and there's a few words said between the two of them. Liam Delap really ought to be yellow carded for this, and I think he may about to be. That was really, really odd, unless he didn't kick out him and it was just a bit of a collision. But to me, that looked like he swung a boot at Yuri and Timber there.
Yeah, Timber didn't seem too angry, did he? He didn't really say anything in the end, so I'm not sure if it was just an accidental collision rather than anything. But we know Liam Delap, he's got that feisty side to his game. He's had a red card this season. Got a lot of yellow cards last season for Ipswich. Commits a lot of fouls per game when he starts. See, 3 minutes on the clock. Arsenal on the attack now. Lewis Skelly on the left-hand side. He's going to go into Declan Rice. Now it's Mosquera out for the right-hand side. Here's Madueke on his more natural right-hand side position. He's step overs, driving at Cucurella. He's into the penalty area. Madueke is still going, looking for the cutback. Looks like he's overrun it, and it's going to be a goal kick for Chelsea in the end. But it was decent running from Madueke. He seemed a little bit indecisive there.
Yeah, he did. I think this is what happens with Noni Madueke when he gets asked to do things that he's not necessarily. It's not necessarily the thing he does best. Being put out on the left-hand side, you know, he wants to be cutting in on his left and shooting off of the right. He doesn't really want to be driving towards the byline and crossing. He can do it, but in games like this, you want your best players to be doing what they do best, and he can't do that while Bukayo Saka's on the field.
Yes, you now see Marina goes in behind towards Madueke, who's collided with Cucurella, and now Liam Delap is holding it up. There's going to be a free kick that goes the way of Chelsea in the end anyway. I think it's against Madueke for the battling with Cucurella. Anthony Taylor is just going through those.
เราไม่ค่อยได้เตะมุนเลยดูเงียบๆนั่นเดี๋ยวพี่เซ็งเลยเนี่ย
Everybody's carded already, so he'd have to be sending them off. Of course, Lewis Skelly got yellow carded after coming on, but apart from that, it's been more quiet in that sense, but there's still been just as many fouls, it feels. Chalobah takes the free kick. He's going to go diagonal to the right-hand side for Delap, who gives a little nudge to Hincapie. Nothing given. Lewis Skelly clears his lines up towards Gyökeres, who's trying to hold it up. Poor forward play from him, and now Enzo Fernandez, decent ball in behind for his fellow Argentine Garnacho, who takes it down brilliantly, lays it back off for Enzo Fernandez, who's still going big sliding challenge from Declan Rice. He had to get that spot on, as we now see Ødegaard plays it into Lewis Skelly, coming forward. What a challenge that is from Gusto, and now here come Chelsea on the counter. Pedro Neto darting down the right, he's slowing it down, I don't know why, he finds Gusto, and that ball into the area is a terrible one.
ก็ยังเหมือนเดิม5 นาทีสุดท้ายก็ยังเหมือนเดิมโยเคเลสยังไม่ได้โดนบอลเลย
The legs are tiring for Chelsea now. I still cannot get over we've only seen 2 changes, and the last one coming at 55 minutes. It's half hour. They've been all of these players at a minimum have played down to 10 men trying to cover all this ground. Some of them have been playing since the 38th minute with a man less. There needed to be changes. I think this game was there to be won by Chelsea's Kukurea. Oh, he was very, very close to overstepping the line there, grabbing onto Noni Madueke over on the far side. Still, Arsenal come forward, ball into the box, easily gathered in the end by Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, and he pulls it out, and here comes Neto on the attack again. He's done some incredible amounts of running, and he's taken up so many yards, and he's still going. Pedro Neto up against Hincapie, cuts inside, goes for goal, and he's nowhere near in the end. Well, I'll tell you what, if Pedro Neto scored there, he'd have absolutely given it to Hincapie, wouldn't he? He would have loved that, but I mean, it's great running again from Neto, but it's a poor effort.
Yeah, it really is. That's disappointing from Pedro Neto, but it is a good run. It's, you know, you've got to have confidence in that shot. You just expect better from a player with his quality from that distance. But yeah, made a bit of a hash of it, and ultimately ball back to Arsenal.
Yeah, made a mess of it in the end as Declan Rice plays it in towards Mosquera. Now back into Declan Rice. Mosquera again. He's got Marina ahead of him. Finds him. It's with Timber. Cross to Bukayo Saka. Opens it up. Finds Mosquera himself. Ball down the line. Saka. Erdegaard. Lovely ball into Timber. Ball into the penalty area. And it's fallen to Marina. Who opens it up. Goes for goal. Big save. And he's parried it towards Gyökeres, who's slid into him. That is an awful challenge from Gyökeres. He's going to claim that he's sliding in to try and score, but that is a dangerous one. It's clattered Rob Sanchez, but a big save from the goalkeeper against Marina.
Yeah, second time tonight, he's shifted his weight really quickly. Robert Sanchez, yellow card for Victor Gyökeres, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I can't tell whether it's really good goalkeeping or really poor goalkeeping, but the two occasions he's done it, he's made those crazy. He goes one way and then has to get across the other, so it's a really, really good stop. Gyökeres just going over to make Robert Sanchez is okay, make sure Robert Sanchez is okay, which is good to see.
ผมว่าวันนี้เสมอเชื่อผมดี
Excellent from Sanchez once again. Unfortunate for Marino that he couldn't get his second of the game. Yeah, that's not good from Victor Gyökeres at all. It has to be said. Look, it's good that he's going to see he's okay, but it's not pretty at all. We're going to see it slow-mo and close range. Ooh, that is going to be a painful one for the Spaniard.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, yeah, he's got to go for it, but I mean, that is just reckless from Gyökeres, in my opinion. Especially the fact that he goes with his left boot. Just is so silly from the Swedes, but see confirmation. Yellow card for him. A second yellow card of the season. Big money signing. He had to make his mark so far in this one. Can we find a winner in this game? Fingers crossed we can, because this has been a great watch so far. Been a little bit slower at times in this half, but the managers will care too much as long as they can find a win. As there's free kicks ready to be taken now. Of course, there is fixtures coming up midweek for the first time this season, going quick back to back. Chelsea have a trip to rivals Leeds United, and Arsenal have a fellow London clash at home to Brentford. As we see Rob Sanchez with the ball ready to be taken. The free kick, 89 minutes. We're probably going to get about 7 or 8 minutes of added time, in my opinion, because it's been very stop-start again. This free kick still not being taken as of yet, despite them all being ready for it. Rob Sanchez taking it. It's not a great one. Flicked on by Cucurella, and then Arsenal can clear their lines. Declan Rice clears it forwards again. Header well won by Fofana. Marino slices it away, and it's brought down by Gusto. Enzo Fernandez has gone down in the middle of the park. Here's Gusto on the attack again. Good challenge from Marino. That's going to go up for thrown in a stoppage in play. It's actually Neto that's gone down for the time being. But yeah, Luke, can you see a winner in this one? I mean, fingers crossed we go.
I think well, if it was 10 minutes earlier, then yeah, probably. But maybe now we're so late on, and with Enzo Maresca so reluctant to make changes, now it feels like it's inevitable that we're heading towards a draw. To be brutally honest, only the 4 minutes added on at the end of this one. It's been a bit more of a free-flowing second half than it was in the first 45, but it's hardly been a symphony of quality football. As that's another foul given away by Liam Delap. I love it with Liam Delap. He gives away some of the most blatant fouls I've ever seen which, you know, you can kind of get away with, you say, oh, striker's tackle, but he always seems baffled by the fact that it's been given against him, and it's like, who knows? He's a funny player, is Liam Delap, but yeah, with only 4 minutes added on, I fear this game is not going to get the winner it deserves.
How is there only 4 minutes? I don't get it. The first half, it should have been about 10 as well, which I'm not complaining as a neutral, but I mean, I just don't really understand how there can only be 4 minutes at the end of this. But here's Declan Rice on the attack, ball into the penalty area, headed away by Chalobah. He's had a great game. Big challenge in there from Lewis Skelly. And here come Arsenal pushing for a winner. Madueke on the left-hand side, lays it off for Lewis Skelly. He's got Hincapie for company, uses him. Decent ball, floating towards the back post. Saka heads it down. He was offside. He looked offside as well. Did the Arsenal skipper. And it's going to be a free kick for Chelsea. So a waste in the end.
Yeah, bit of a waste, it has to be said. Disappointing from Bukayo Saka. I don't think there are any players in an Arsenal shirt, barring maybe Declan Rice and maybe Yuri and Timber, that can come away from this game and really think that they've played well and that they can be satisfied with their performance. Obviously Marino got the goal, but other than that he's been pretty anonymous. Saka did well for the goal, but other than that hasn't really done much. Martinelli obviously brought off for Ødegaard. Madueke came on for Zubmendi. Zubmendi was terrible. I don't think Ødegaard or Madueke have done much to influence the result.
วันนี้เซนอลเล่นไม่ดีด้วยเพื่อนต้องยอมมาแหละ
The other 4 defenders that aren't Yuri and Timber, I think have struggled throughout most of this game.
Yeah, certainly have, as we see Lewis Skelly with the ball in hand for a throw-in. Arsenal are going to be the side that push for a winner in this. Declan Rice carrying the ball forwards now. He's got options to the right. Can they deal the heavy blow to the blue side of London? And you now see Mascara in towards Ødegaard. Timber opens it up, whips in, comes off the back of Cucurella. It's well cleared by Fofana, and Enzo Fernandez looks like he's running on empty at the moment. What is David Raya doing there as he slices it away? It could turn into a good pass, but it hasn't. Pedro Neto clears his lines. They're all clearing for an offside. They don't get it. I thought Maresca was going to put his hand in front of that then to try and stop the quick throw-in to be taken. Declan Rice goes across to Lewis Skelly. Now it's going to be Mascara. Out to Hincapie again. He finds Madueke. Lewis Skelly. Back to Madueke now. Not long left in this one. Ball down the channel for Hincapie. He gets there. He's going to keep it in play. He's taking it off him. Yuri and Timber's taking it off Gyökeres, and it would have been a sitter for the forward. The attack's still live. The Saka digs it in for Marino with the header. He puts it over the bar. Yuri and Timber has had a terrible moment.
Yeah, he really ought to leave it for Gyökeres, but surely the Swede's got to demand it there. Surely he's got to say, no, this is my ball as it comes in. Hincapie, brilliant chip left-footed ball. Yeah, Gyökeres straight away says to him, you've got to leave it. My problem is you can tell from the replay, he doesn't shout. He doesn't shout, so Timber's got to go for it. If Timber doesn't go for it, and Gyökeres thinks he is and leaves it, then we're saying, well, why didn't you go for it? Massive bit of miscommunication. That was the chance, and there goes the game for Arsenal.
There it goes, and it's missed opportunity
น่าจะเสมอเพื่อน
for Arsenal, but it's opportunity taken for Manchester City this weekend with Chelsea and Arsenal dropping points. That is the full-time whistle. Well, a very entertaining game at Stamford Bridge. Caicedo sent off in the first half, rightly so, for an awful challenge. He'll miss the next 3 games. Chalobah put them 1-0 up early doors in the second half, but a leveller from Marino seals the deal and settles the score. It finishes Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity
จบครับเพื่อน
bet on the match?
มอบ
Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first
วันนี้
player
เซ
to
นอลเราเล่นไม่ดีด้วยแหละ
score, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent
เรีย
studio
บร้อยครับ
commentary
เพื่อนเส
while
มอ
also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck.
เรียบร้อย1-1อะไรวะ
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck.
นะเพื่อนๆจบแล้ว1-1ลองนึกดูถ้ากาเซโดไม่โดนไล่ออกเราจะเป็นยังไงนั่นดิครับพี่
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take
วันนี้อาร์เซนอลเราเล่นไม่ดีหลายคนเลยทั้งซาก้าเอเซ่นะครับมีไลท์อย่าเล่นดีคนเดียวอ่ะทั้งทีมวันนี้มีทิมเบอร์อย่างเงี้ยเล่นดีพี่ทิมเบอร์ไลท์ก็เก็บกวาดได้หมดอ่ะวันนี้ไลท์อ่ะก็ไม่เป็นไรเพื่อนๆก็เรายังนำอยู่นะครับ5แต้มนะเนี่ยครับเรามาดูตารางคะแนนแบบล่าสุดนะอาร์เซนอลนะครับจะแข่ง13นัดนะชนะ9เสมอ3แพ้1นะครับมี30คะแนนนะส่วนที่2นะครับเป็นแมนซิตี้นะครับตามมา5คะแนนนะชนะไป8เสมอ1แล้วก็แพ้4นะครับที่3เชลซีนะครับมีชนะ7เสมอ3แพ้3มี24คะแนนนะครับก็อาร์เซนอลนำห่างอยู่5คะแนนนะนัดหน้าเราเจอเบนฟอร์ดนะครับเดี๋ยวดูนัดต่อไปเนี่ยครับเพื่อนๆเราแข่งกันคืนวันพุธนะเพื่อนตี 2:30นะเดี๋ยวเรามาเจอกันนะครับเราเปิดบ้านต้อนรับการมาเยือนของเบนฟอร์ดแล้วก็คู่ปรับนะฟูลแลมเปิดบ้านนะครับเจอแมนซิตี้นิวคาสเซิลเจอสเปอร์แล้วก็ลีดเปิดบ้านเจอเชลซีลิเวอร์พูลเจอซันเดอร์แลนด์แล้วก็แมนยูเจอเวสต์แฮมนะครับเพื่อนๆแล้วก็เสาร์อาทิตย์หน้านะอาร์เซนอลเราจะเตะเป็นคู่แรกแอสตันวิลล่านะครับเปิดบ้านต้อนรับการมาเยือนของอาร์เซนอลแล้วก็บอร์นมัธเปิดบ้านต้อนรับการมาเยือนของเชลซีแล้วก็ซิตี้นะครับเปิดบ้านเจอกับซันเดอร์แลนด์นะนิวคาสเซิลเบอร์ลี่สเปอร์เบนฟอร์ดนะครับลีดลิเวอร์พูลแล้วก็ไบรตันเวสต์แฮมนะครับฟูลแลมคริสตัลพาเลซแล้วก็วูฟแมนยูนะครับก็เรามีโปรแกรมกลางสัปดาห์ด้วยนะสำหรับวีคนี้นะเดี๋ยวเรามาเจอกันใหม่นะวันนี้ไปก่อนเพื่อนไปก่อนเพื่อนราตรีสวัสดิ์ฝันดีนะเพื่อนพี่ฝันดีนะพี่สมัครนะเดี๋ยวเจอกันใหม่กลางสัปดาห์คือวันพุธวันนี้ไปก่อนราตรีสวัสดิ์ฝันดีนะครับเพื่อนบ๊ายบายใช่พี่เชลซีเล่นดีพี่ขนาด10 ตัวเชลซีเล่นดี